Let's dive into a wild story. The first thing our guy does in another world? Sticking a silver needle straight into his own acupuncture point. Because every single needle he drives into his body grants him epic new skills and extra lifespan. He restores his failing vitality, securing a bright future that won't end prematurely. Soon, he becomes the legendary healer who absolutely shakes an entire continent. Yet in his past life, he was just a regular doctor. Sadly, terrible clinic management left him entirely buried in massive debt. Then a viral outbreak struck, and angry people everywhere blamed his hospital for their infections. Feeling broken and demoralized, he wandered to a riverside to clear his head. But he never saw it coming. He slipped and plummeted straight into the water. At that exact moment, a strange notification appeared right before him. The health point system activated. By collecting these health points, he can unlock incredible skills and summon truly fantastical beings. Little did he know, the system would change absolutely everything. When he opens his eyes again, he suddenly finds himself in completely unfamiliar and mysterious surroundings. He quickly realizes he definitely isn't in a hospital. The elegant decor around him is entirely medieval in style. Right then, a middle-aged guy nearby looks at him with deep concern, gently asking if he feels all right. But our hero has absolutely no memory of this person. So, the guy introduces himself. He's Piero Guardian, the Crown Prince's own personal physician. He has zero idea what any of that means. But as he reaches for a simple drink of water, he quickly notices something is seriously off. Because the face looking back from the reflection isn't his own. Then it hits him hard. His appearance perfectly matches the description from that fantasy novel Raquel Adrianal. Pay attention here. Was he truly reincarnated into that exact story's world? In shock, he slaps himself hard across the face. The sharp pain confirms it. This is real. And this is incredibly awesome. He's become Crown Prince. Raquel. Finally, he doesn't have to stress about that crushing debt anymore. But a second later, his entire frail body goes limp, and he forcefully collapses right down to the ground. Only then does he suddenly remember. In the novel, Raquel was strictly a minor character who appeared very briefly during the early chapters. Born frail and incredibly sickly, he tragically passed away from illness at just 22 years of age. He quickly learns from Piero Guardian that he is currently 21 years old, which sadly means he has just one single year left to survive. Come on. As royalty, Raquel had access to the absolute finest medical care and the blessings of countless clergy, yet he still perished from illness. That leaves only one crazy option. He quickly signals to Piero Guardian to bring him some long medical needles. He will simply take matters into his own hands and protect his body himself. The scene shifts. He is now examining his own condition, and the results are grim. He detects 10 totally abnormal pulses in his body. These are huge signs of critical danger. Even a single minor flare-up from any of them could cause absolutely devastating internal damage. Meanwhile, Piero Guardian returns with all the long needles. Staring at the assortment of needles laid out before him, he calmly picks one out and holds it over a flame to instantly sterilize it. Piero Guardian watches in pure confusion. You and I both know exactly what happens next. He's sticking it right into his body. Hearing this, Piero Guardian immediately drops to his knees, loudly begging the prince not to harm himself. But the cool Crown Prince calmly explains he has his brilliant reasons. He'd never toy with his own body. Piero Guardian just needs to trust him here. He boldly decides the first needle will instantly target his breathing. The lungs are the vital starting point of the 12 meridians. And the closest meridian to the lungs is the famous hand, Tay and lung meridian. As he carefully inserts the needle, the blocked acupuncture points along that meridian instantly open up all at once. At the same time, a notification chimes before him. Thanks to the accurate application of acupuncture, his lungs have been magically strengthened. Fresh air comes flooding into his lungs. He receives a sweet reward of 100 HP. But our guy looks genuinely puzzled. He has truly never encountered a wild system like this before, but it seems only he can actually see it. So, Piero Guardian, completely in the dark, totally begins to think the crown prince has simply lost his mind. At the same time, he picks up another long needle and gently drives it straight into the Yunmen point. The next moment, the beautifully precise needling of the Yunmen point completely eases the tightness trapped in his chest. He then calmly works his way through the points, perfectly needling the Tianfu point, the Kongzui point, and the Yuji point in sequence. In no time, his lungs feel exactly as if they've been given a deeply soothing massage. The final needle strikes the Shashang point. As the needle smoothly slides in, the amazing acupuncture treatment for his lungs is fully complete. The next moment, his lungs feel beautifully reborn. The magical renewal even spreads to his large intestine, bringing it completely back to full activity. A notification appears. The large intestine and lungs together have granted 300 HP. Current HP, 600. At this point, he's ready to unlock a new skill. He's curious. Could it be an epic sword technique or a magic spell, like something straight out of a fantasy story? He boldly taps confirm without hesitation. Trust me, you'll want to see the skill list appear. He stays totally calm because everything on that list is stuff he already knew from his past life. He picks the pulse, reading skill without hesitation. Let's dive right in. You and I both know you need an accurate diagnosis before treating anything. With that skill unlocked, he can instantly check his overall health just by feeling his own pulse. He immediately puts this awesome new ability to the test. After a super long check, his complete health report pops right up. Every single organ is ranked at the absolute lowest grade, an F. Suddenly, a massive warning flashes. His current remaining lifespan is just 91 days. But he absolutely refuses to just sit back and give up. Using controlled breathing, he starts doing acupuncture, pulling each needle out in a clockwise pattern. As that last needle goes in, something totally unexpected happens. His remaining time goes up by a full day. The acupuncture is actually working. He tries treating his right hand next, but he instantly coughs up a harsh backlash. The reason why? He did it way too fast. A patient needs enough physical strength to handle the massive stress acupuncture puts on their nerves and meridians. But hey, at the very least, this proves the acupuncture totally works. The real issue here is his terrible physical state. With a 3-day recovery between sessions, growing his lifespan each time might only gain him 1 extra month. Now watch this. That approach is way too slow, so he creates a much faster solution. Medicinal tonics. He instantly turns to Piro Garden. Does the storage room have any incredibly toxic medicinal herbs? Of course, Piro Garden confirms they do. So, you have aconite root in there too, right? Awesome. Bring them to me immediately. Piro Garden is totally confused. Why would the crown prince need that? Because I plan to eat it. Hearing this, Piro Garden drops straight down, desperately begging the prince not to do anything incredibly foolish. The man explains super calmly, "This is just my treatment. You know aconite root is highly toxic, right? It has 2 root types, and the one I need is called the secondary root. Yeah, packs a poison strong enough to take someone out instantly, but he knows exactly how to neutralize it completely. Basically, he can magically turn it right into a proper medicinal herb. Once that secondary root goes through the detox process, it becomes a totally safe, powerful medicine." Piro Garden doesn't fully get it, but he agrees, silently hoping this aconite root actually helps the crown prince recover. Heading to the storehouse, Piro Garden makes a quiet vow. For the prince's safety, once detoxed, he will personally taste it first before the prince touches a single drop. The scene shifts. Those herbs are boiled into a thick, concentrated broth. Now, but Piro Guardian is still looking super worried. So, our guy decides to mess with him just a little bit. If you think it's poisonous, why not try it yourself? Naturally, Piro Guardian says he would be more than willing. Let that sink in for a second. This guy, Piro Guardian, he was incredibly loyal in the original novel, when every single other doctor walked away from the crown prince. Piro Guardian alone stayed to care for Raquel. After the crown prince was gone, He took all the blame and suffered a terrible fate. What an absolutely devoted guy. Someone like that deserves a great life. But this medicine? He has absolutely no intention of sharing it. After straining it carefully, bowl of Manhwa Fuzi Jixin decoction is finally ready. To stop Guardian from tasting it first, he claims this medicine can only be taken once it cools down completely. But Piero Guardian is super curious. How does the Crown Prince even know about this remedy? To dodge a long explanation, he lies, claiming a wizard told him in a crazy dream. While Guardian is still thinking it over, our guy snatches the bowl and drinks it down to the very last drop. The next second, wild energy explodes inside him. A notification quickly appears. That tonic boosted his metabolism, fully awakening the Azrahan core energy. The man is completely and utterly confused now. This Azrahan energy is a cultivation method made 300 years ago. It can only be used by the direct royal bloodline. His current body belonged to the Crown Prince himself, so obviously, it had already mastered this powerful method. It's only at level 1 right now, but it lets him control the mana around his heart, making it flow continuously. Hitting the next level requires 1000 HP. Suddenly, the mana around his heart begins to rapidly circulate. Instantly, he feels mana flowing through his whole body. Is this really that legendary mana power? This is absolutely incredible. But a second later, searing pain rips through his chest, dropping him straight to the ground. That's where we leave it. The mana circulation is crushing his poor heart. The fragile balance between his mana ring and heart just shattered. Total flatline could happen absolutely anytime. Is his actual physical heart just too weak for that massive mana ring? Remember, El has been incredibly frail and sickly since birth, possessing literally zero physical combat training or conditioning whatsoever. Stick with me here, his heart is getting completely crushed, and there is only one insane fix left. Since shrinking his own beating heart is impossible, he literally has to forcefully expand that mana ring. Without hesitating a single second, he reaches right in and grabs that magic ring. He pulls with raw power, desperately forcing it wider. The agonizing pain is absolutely brutal, but compared to his tragic past life, this is practically nothing. He remembers those dark days, helplessly watching his patients fade away, leaving him with an absolutely massive mountain of debt that just kept growing forever. Refusing to let this brand new life end in a tragedy, he goes totally all out. Finally, he stretches that stubborn mana ring to several times its normal massive size. Boom! His heart beats again. A system alert pops up. Thanks to his epic actions, full recovery achieved. Deep inside his magical inner core, that failing heart is completely brought back. Warm cheers and blessings flood in from everywhere. Thank goodness the crazy crisis is finally over. But wait, he quickly spots something else. He just unlocked a mana tank. Is this basically an anime video game inventory slot? He quickly turns to Piero Guardian, trying to explain. That intense pain earlier? He just swallowed something wrong, so nothing to worry about. But poor Piero Guardian is completely filled with massive guilt. The loyal guy thinks he should have taste tested it. Raquel laughs, joking that next time, he will totally brew a highly toxic potion for him. He then calmly asks Piero Guardian to sweep up all the broken glass, offering his sincere thanks. Watch closely, he just scored a wild new ability way beyond anything you and I expected. With that epic thought, he sits cross-legged and opens the mana tank. It can magically store both physical matter and pure mana, holding exactly 10 liters per slot. Items are stored simply by eating them. Water becomes the perfect test subject. Based on standard limits, a person weighing 60 kilograms can safely drink a maximum of exactly 5.4 liters of water. Given his current body weight, he can safely take in up to 3.9 liters. As he slowly drinks, the mana tank rises by 1 liter instantly. Seeing this awesome success, he goes ahead and chugs 10 full liters of water. The mana tank shoots straight up to 10. He then tries releasing 0.1 liters, and it works. Right now, he is like a magical camel in the desert, completely free to distribute the stored water inside his body. however he wants. But what if he stored a powerful medicinal tonic instead? Would the epic results change? However, he absolutely cannot expel that much water at once. Doing that would destroy him instantly. So he brilliantly decides to use his Astra hand core energy instead. By channeling it perfectly through mana and amplifying it, he can launch water outward. As he focuses his raw mana, a sphere of water slowly takes shape. The next moment, it shoots straight toward a normal water bottle. But a massive bang rings out. The bottle shatters instantly on the spot. Even Raquel himself is left completely frozen in pure shock. We all expected a gentle splash, right? Well, think again, he literally just fired an incredibly massive, super destructive water cannon. At the exact same time, the royal guards, who heard the noise, come rushing in. To avoid unnecessary drama, he claims he simply knocked the bottle over and broke it accidentally. The guards kindly instruct Piero Guardian to help the crown prince to his bedroom, while they take care of sweeping everything up. Shortly after Piero Guardian steps out, Raquel falls deep into thought. Mana flows from his heart, amplifies through his shoulders and arms, and is powerfully launched out straight through the palm of his hand. This awesome power is truly extraordinary, but to perfectly master it, much more experimentation is totally needed. Meanwhile, deep inside the fancy imperial palace, Emperor Astrio has totally caught wind of Raquel's bizarre recent behavior. A nervous servant respectfully reports the crown prince has been stabbing himself with acupuncture needles, drinking toxins, and acting completely out of character. The emperor grits his teeth in pure frustration, absolutely baffled by what the boy is up to. The next day, Raquel is super busy in his chamber brewing a pot of herbal medicine. He stares at the finished brew with huge satisfaction. 10 liters of Ma Huang Fuzi Zixin decoction successfully finished. He quickly turns to Guardian, politely telling him to step outside for a moment. Raquel thinks to himself, if Guardian sees him completely drain the whole pot, the poor guy will instantly faint on the spot. Softening his casual tone, he adds that he just needs a little personal privacy to handle something. Guardian looks super worried, blurting out that Raquel is absolutely going to drink that dangerous brew again. He pleads, last time was terrible, please do not do it again. Raquel smoothly waves it off, claiming he just choked a little last time, so it was nothing. Guardian quickly grabs his arm. This is genuinely worrying him. Raquel promises him, it is just an experiment. I will take one small sip. I do not want to waste it. Guardian is highly skeptical. Really? Just a tiny sip? Raquel shrugs with forced ease. Who in their right mind would ever chug 10 whole liters? Guardian relaxes and totally buys it. But look at his face, trust me. You and I know he is about to do something completely insane next. Stick with me. He boots Guardian straight out the door. He slams it shut, locking himself inside, getting totally ready to drink. Raquel lifts that pot and mutters, bottoms up. He completely ignores that awful bitter taste, furiously chugging straight from the pot. A wild system alert suddenly pops up, showing his potion level dropping from 10 liters down to absolutely 0. Every single drop gone. Raquel breathes a long, totally satisfied sigh. Wow, that hit the spot. Now, all he has to do is let this crazy medicine work through his whole system. The system loudly pings again. The Mahuang Fuzi Jixing decoction starts releasing at 0.1 liters. The next morning, Al wakes up to massive health points donation alerts from his organs. System alert overjoyed heart donates 100% health. Joyful lungs also donate 200% health. Large intestine skips rope with its sphincter, donating 100% health. Current health hits 500, but Raquel knows that is nowhere near enough. Desperate to boost his stats, he just starts chugging Mahuang Fuzi Jixing decoction like basic water. Eventually, this system sighs in total defeat as his organs get completely sick of it. Now, pay attention here. Raquel absolutely cannot find more health until one day while eating, he suddenly gets a wild notification. His lifespan actually increased. System alert expected lifespan extended by 50 days. Remaining lifespan 133 days. Raquel leaps up, screaming, "It totally worked." Pure, uncontrollable joy fills his voice. The maid right beside him is totally startled by this sudden outburst. The cup in her shaking hand instantly shatters on the floor. Raquel snaps back to reality, awkwardly apologizing that he never meant to scare her. The maid trembles all over, frantically begging him for forgiveness. Raquel watches her violently shake, thinking it is just a broken cup. Why is she this terrified? He gently tells her everything is fine, asking if she got hurt. But the poor maid just panics way more. She apologizes repeatedly, swearing she will never make that mistake again. "Please," she begs, "don't cane me like last time." Al completely freezes. When did he ever cane her? He urgently asks her to tell him that never happened. She says it didn't, and Raquel exhales in pure relief. Then she quietly adds, "He never caned her personally." That dark truth hits Raquel like lightning. He immediately understands everything. He demands to know, did he order someone else to do it? What did she even do wrong? The terrified maid stammers, "She just accidentally splashed water on his sleeve." Raquel seethes inwardly. The original Raquel was total garbage. With a hollow look, he tells her to quickly clean up that broken cup and just leave, needing a moment totally alone. The maid thanks him with absolute relief, bolting out like she is escaping a maximum security prison. Raquel watches her leave, quietly muttering to himself about that incredibly dramatic exit. Let's pause here. He calls Garden over, admitting his memory feels foggy, asking what kind of master the staff actually thinks he is. Garden opens his mouth to say something flattering, but Raquel instantly cuts him off. He warns him one flattering word and he will drink that toxic brew right here. Garden literally has no choice but to confess. Normally, Raquel loves flogging servants, slapping people across their faces, and violently making people kneel. Hearing this, our Raquel is completely horrified. He cannot help but roar. What on earth was that original Raquel doing? No wonder everyone just blindly swallowed his completely ridiculous excuses. They already thought he was entirely out of his mind. Raquel genuinely asks Garden, completely puzzled, "Why have you never been terrified of me?" He points out that Garden stays closest to him, so naturally, he really should have suffered the most. Garden answers without any hesitation, "Because I believe in you, and I know who you truly are." Garden happily recalls, the real Raquel was genuinely kind-hearted. He once stood freezing in the rain himself, rather than letting a tiny baby chick get wet. Garden believes once Raquel's horrible illness is cured, his true, kind self will return. Lately, that loyal faith has been paying off little by little. Raquel is genuinely so touched. He stands up and warmly asks, "Does seeing me change make you happy?" Garden nods without a second thought. Of course, it absolutely does. Raquel breaks into a bright, warm smile, generously announcing that Garden gets an entire loaf of fresh bread as a reward. In his racing heart, he swears a deeply solemn vow to the sky. He absolutely will not let himself fade away. Just then, someone suddenly bursts through the heavy door in a total panic. The messenger breathlessly announces, "His Majesty the Emperor requests an audience with His Highness, Crown Prince Raquel." Raquel straightens his robes, perfectly composes himself, and confidently makes his way to the palace. He stands before Emperor Astrio, bowing with perfect courtesy. Crown Prince Raquel Adrianoa pays his deepest respects to the rightful sovereign of this grand land, Your Imperial Majesty. The Emperor takes one look at Raquel and his jaw completely drops. He just cannot believe it. Could this frail, sickly boy have actually mastered the Ezrahan heart method? But then, he spots Raquel trembling from head to toe. He relaxes instantly, assuming he just imagined things. Of course, the boy is simply terrified to be in his royal presence. In absolute reality, Raquel's feet have just fallen completely asleep. That's where we leave it. The Emperor softens his tone, asking if palace life was comfortable. While Raquel hesitates, "Stick with me here," the Emperor immediately demands answers about the poison and injuries. Raquel tenses up, scrambling to explain, but the Emperor fiercely cuts him off, calling him a fool completely unworthy of royal heritage. He lectures that as a direct imperial heir, Raquel must absolutely never forget his royal dignity and conduct. If his body cannot handle the heavy weight of the throne, he must just make a wise choice. Raquel secretly scoffs at this sneaky old man's hidden agenda. Then, the emperor stops playing games and gets straight to the actual point. He strictly orders Raquel to surrender his crown prince title to the second prince. Rochelle almost laughs out loud. So this is it? He meets the emperor's gaze, remaining completely respectful, but totally unshakable. With all due respect, Your Majesty, I absolutely refuse. The emperor's face turns red. He can barely believe it. Rochelle is actually refusing. Rochelle does not flinch at all. Feeling that crushing pressure bearing down, he tells himself not to back down. He sees right through this cheap trick. The emperor wants his title gone. Rochelle knows he does not even need his consent to replace him. Now watch closely. This whole proposition is just a fake piece of political theater. The emperor wants Rochelle stepping down willingly, handing the second prince a perfectly clean, legitimate claim. A flawless royal family PR stunt. Rochelle knows he is considered a sickly disappointment who simply refused to fade away. He made the emperor anxious for years. Now, he fakes a mask of concern. Does Rochelle not realize this is for his good? That empty title is not worth keeping. Rochelle almost snorts. He never even cared about that title to begin with. Honestly, he would happily hand it over to just relax. But he knows the truth. If the second prince takes the throne, this empire is doomed. Theodore might be praised as super capable, but he is just not built for wartime struggles. Putting that quietly ambitious prince in charge means both the empire and the royal family are completely finished. Rochelle stands up, speaking with quiet conviction. Frail or not, he never forgot what being a real prince means. The title means nothing. He only cares about the empire. Then, Rochelle drops a bold proposal. He demands one epic competition between himself and the second prince, proving exactly who truly deserves to wear the crown. Back at his palace, Garden rushes over, absolutely frantic to find out what the emperor wanted. Rochelle casually mentions the emperor told him to give the crown prince title to his brother. Garden goes pale, speechless. Rochelle smiles, reassuring him he already turned it down. You and I saw that coming, right? He casually challenged his brother to a duel. Looking utterly defeated, Garden says he is packing his bags to leave. Rochelle grabs him, furious and desperate, saying just trust me. Meanwhile, the emperor hears about this challenge, allowing himself a quiet, satisfied smirk. He never actually expected Rochelle to step up and demand to prove his worth. Surprising, the boy has backbone. He honors the proposal, and the big duel day arrives incredibly fast. The crowd's girls completely swoon over the second prince, whispering about how handsome Theodore will look when he wins. Meanwhile, Raquel is quietly doing push-ups in the corner, warming up with absolute focus. Theodore approaches gently, saying there is no need to push himself. He already knows how this ends. Raquel stands and plays completely dumb. The result? You mean, you actually winning? Theodore explains he assumed this duel simply gave him a clean path to the throne. The emperor claimed the outcome was absolutely never in any question. Looking pained, the very last thing he wants is hurting Raquel at the cost of his health. Raquel secretly scoffs. So, both the emperor and Theodore have completely missed the entire point. Raquel waves a guard over for a shield. Taking it, he turns to Theodore, firmly declaring he has absolutely no intention of losing. Murmurs ripple through the shocked crowd. Everyone assumes he is joking, having absolutely zero chance. Right then, the emperor steps forward with massive authority, loudly announcing the official rules. He declares this contest decides who inherits the imperial throne. The rules are simple. Raquel wins by surviving 5 minutes or knocking Theodore right down. If he fails, victory goes straight to second Prince Theodore. The emperor raises his commanding voice. Let the duel begin. The crowd erupts. Shockingly, Raquel drops his sword aside, abandoning all offense. Theodore looks confused, thinking, he gave up. Trust me, you are not ready for this. Let us dive into this wild duel. Striking a sick guy felt wrong, but giving up publicly would absolutely humiliate the entire royal family. 1 second later, Raquel hoists his heavy shield and takes a tough defensive stance, ready to hold the line. Theodore realizes Raquel just wants to play defense and stall the clock. Smart move, he admits. So, he decides to finish this match fast. Theodore fires up his heart technique, raw mana bursting through his whole body, and slams his heavy blade straight down at Raquel. The Emperor watches quietly from the sidelines, thinking, even if Raquel blocks, that shield will surely shatter. Theodore is actually worried here. He wants to let Raquel lose with dignity. He aimed low intentionally, hoping to prevent a humiliating fall. But Raquel does not just block the huge strike. He never even budges. Theodore stares in pure disbelief. How is this possible? The crowd explodes. Raquel blocked the strike. Someone yells that Theodore definitely held back. After all, he is way too kind to actually hurt the sick crown prince. Theodore locks eyes with Raquel and instantly knows from his intense gaze that the perfect block was no accident. But he still believes the outcome of this duel will never change. Theodore swings again, showing absolutely zero mercy. Sharper, faster, fiercer. He gives it everything. Raquel starts buckling, getting violently pushed back step by step. Raquel curses quietly. His head is ringing like a loud bell and his wrists are going numb. He refuses to quit. Digging deep, he pushes forward, remembering his old days as a riot cop. He has survived way worse. Gritting his teeth, shield raised, Raquel charges straight toward Theodore once again. Keeping his intense gaze locked on Theodore, he notices with quiet excitement that his opponent is pulling in way more mana than expected. The more mana Theodore absorbs, the better Raquel's winning odds actually become. Now watch this carefully. Theodore looks grim, confused. How Raquel is standing. But this is his final strike. Theodore leaps up, gathering every single ounce of power, and brings it crashing down onto the heavy shield. Raquel holds firm. He silently thanks himself for surviving those brutal leg days. For this exact moment, plus one clever little trick he prepared in advance. Time to serve Theodore a very special round of his homemade bomb shot. Raquel sets the release to 0 points to leaders. The system executes immediately. The exact instant Theodore's attack connects, he unknowingly absorbs the released mana too. He suddenly burps out loud, sways around, and looks completely wasted. Raquel grins. He always knew Theodore was a lightweight. One round and he is completely done. Last night, he mixed a crazy bomb shot from 20 spirits and packed every last storage slot for this exact epic moment. Theodore looks confused. Something slipped into his body through the mana when he hit the shield. His head is spinning fast and he has zero idea what it was. Theodore fights to stay conscious, desperately holding it together. He has to drop Raquel before the 5 minutes end, earn his father's precious approval, and claim the royal throne to roaring cheers. He truly believes this is the ultimate outcome for his family, the whole empire, and even for Raquel. He promises himself a win. Fighting through the dizziness, Theodore shouts across the arena, "Brother, here I come." With that, he surges forward with a crazy, renewed ferocity, bearing down on Raquel like a massive storm. Raquel barely holds the block, absolutely shocked that Theodore is somehow still fighting through the bomb shot. The blows grow heavier. You feel it too, right? Time for round 2. He unleashes another 0.1 liters. Theodore absorbs the mana, the dizziness spikes, and now he is hallucinating. In the haze, he finds himself standing inside a bar. He looks around, completely baffled. Where is he? Inside this vision, a bartender mixes a drink right before him, sliding it over with a smile. Compliments of that gentleman over there. Theodore follows the gesture, and the gentleman is none other than Raquel. He instantly snaps out of it, pale with shock. He cannot believe he hallucinated that. Raquel takes a breath, activates his heart method, thinking, time to sober him up. The system chimes on cue. Raquel is about to release the substance stored in his ring slot. He draws energy into his palm and slams it straight into Theodore without hesitation. Theodore never sees it coming. He flies backward, crashing hard onto the ground. Dead silence falls over the shocked arena. Everyone is frozen in shock. Even the Emperor is stunned, mind racing. Was that truly the Azrahan heart method Raquel just used? He cannot make sense of it. With so many wild, different energies mixed together, how is that mana resonance so precise? Later, Theodore slowly opens his eyes and finds Raquel kneading his foot. Trust me, we will never forget this match. He blinks, confused. Raquel never looks up. Stick with me here. Theodore presses him. Purifying mana? Is this the legendary Azrahan heart method? What is happening? Raquel answers completely flat. He just started using it late. That is all. Theodore goes totally quiet, plainly admitting he lost. Then Theodore jolts. There is a nasty injury right on Raquel's forehead. Raquel just waves it off. Probably a simple shield scratch. Theodore feels a massive wave of guilt. Raquel was fighting with absolutely everything. He feels so ashamed of his own arrogance. How confident he looked. Raquel just stands up and casually asks how he feels. Theodore looks down. Honestly, ashamed. Raquel just sighs. No, he meant his physical condition. How does his body feel? Theodore blinks, then quickly admits it feels surprisingly light and better. Raquel smiles with this quiet pride. Of course, it does. He literally drained every drop of alcohol from Theodore's system. Without a single hesitation, Theodore drops straight to one knee. Right before the Emperor and the massive crowd, he formally acknowledges Crown Prince Raquel's absolute, undeniable victory. The arena goes absolutely wild, cheering for Raquel's win. Raquel checks his system panel and excitedly pumps his fist. Yes, a system alert suddenly pops up. Congratulations on successfully treating another person for the first time. Watch closely. This is huge. Major achievement unlocked. The brand new treatment fee skill. Treating others extends his own expected lifespan at a crazy ratio of 2000 to 1. Raquel reads it, completely overjoyed. Then the system adds Theodore's lifespan only extended by 0.5 days. Way below the settlement threshold. Raquel deflates instantly. All that hype for absolutely nothing. But he quickly bounces back. As long as he keeps treating patients from now on, he can easily extend his lifespan. No more spinning his wheels for zero progress. He remembers chugging terrible medicine and suffering through endless acupuncture. All of it was like pouring water into a totally broken barrel, completely pointless. A massive wave of relief hits him. Those hopeless days are finally over. The Emperor's sharp voice cuts right through the noise. Why isn't Raquel answering? Did he actually use the Azrahan heart method in that battle? And how on earth did he pull it off? Raquel bows deeply. Yes, he did. But honestly, he is not entirely sure how. The Emperor just stares. He cannot believe Raquel just openly said he doesn't know. Raquel just keeps bowing. He genuinely doesn't understand it either. He thinks to himself, well, it was literally a system skill he just picked up randomly. The Emperor stays quiet for a long moment. Then, he speaks slowly. On the exact day Raquel was born, he personally engraved the heart method into him. Raquel bows low. Such a profound honor, Your Majesty. I am grateful. But because of his incredibly frail body, Raquel could never harness it. Raquel simply apologizes for the past. He is truly sorry for failing those grand expectations. The Emperor then praises him for finally overcoming a massive crisis just like this. With a fragile body like his, that took real courage. Raquel thanks him again. You and I knew he'd pull it off. The Emperor declares his crown prince. Title officially stays. But he sternly warns Raquel, he will be watching his every single move. The Emperor's voice is so sharp and fully authoritative. Is that understood? Raquel calmly agrees. Then he randomly points out the Emperor is neglecting his own swordsmanship. Way too focused on boring state affairs. He boldly advises that simply won't do. The Emperor must stay physically active. He casually lists it out: eat vegetables, stretch, and quit smoking. The Emperor is absolutely speechless. "Are you seriously lecturing me right now?" But Raquel's tone is completely genuine. It comes purely from true concern, zero disrespect. Riding back, the emperor mutters to himself, "That cheeky kid totally used a health lecture to dodge me." Then he thinks about the Azrahan heart method. Raquel used it way too recklessly. With a body that weak, one wrong move could have been an absolute disaster. But it proves just how desperately Raquel was fighting out there. He remembers the past. Raquel lost his mother instantly, spending his whole life chained to a terrible illness. He placed hope in that boy dozens of times, only to be let down constantly. But that tiny spark Raquel showed today, it genuinely shook something inside the emperor. Meanwhile, inside his carriage, Raquel's mind drifts back to his own father's stroke. He skipped class that exact day to mess around. When the phone finally rang, it was already way too late. He knows the emperor will also suffer a stroke early in the Demon Sword Emperor storyline, right after his own tragic end. He silently vows he will absolutely not let that happen, not just because the emperor must stay healthy for his treatment fee skill to work, but because he never, ever wants to go through losing someone incredibly close to him again. Just then, Garden, sitting across from him, suddenly starts bawling. Through intense dramatic sobs, he actually begs Raquel to ask him what kind of tears these are. "Trust me, you'll love this." Raquel sighs, playing along. "Fine, what tears?" Garden answers immediately, voice cracking. "Let's jump into an absolutely wild story." He sheds real tears, holding his face, asking if it was that tough. Raquel just gives him a tired, warm smile. He truly appreciates the concern, but the guy seriously needs a break. He says, starting tomorrow, they have huge plans. He has someone very important to meet. The next evening, Raquel and Garden show up at Sorrentino Garden, literally one of the top 10 fanciest restaurants in the capital. Garden looks super confused, asking why they even needed to wear disguises. He just doesn't get it at all. They barely sit down before a server quickly asks for their order. Raquel casually orders pasta with 0 noodles or sauce, plus wine completely free of grapes, adding they will be dining there until dawn. The server just nods, signaling them to follow closely, saying he has a special place to show them. Raquel and Garden step right behind him. The server smoothly pushes open a secret hidden door, pointing straight ahead. He tells them to head down. Garden's eyes bulge out. He literally cannot believe this fancy restaurant hides a secret passage. He frantically asks what this place is and why they came. Raquel calmly replies they are simply here to earn an incredibly massive treatment fee. He clearly states he must find a guy named Damien down here. This absolute mission matters more than anything. Just like that, he slams open another door leading Garden straight onto a high balcony. They step right up to the railing, staring down. Way below them sits a massive underground arena, totally hidden from the outside world. Raquel smirks, bragging about his secret find. He intensely scans the whole crowd, muttering, wondering where Damien is hiding. Garden suddenly points at a huge guy nearby, asking if that is him. His voice drops completely. That massive dude looks beyond terrifying. His aura alone is suffocating. Raquel shakes his head instantly. Nope, not Damien. Right then, heavy doors swing open, and someone steps inside. Raquel's eyes immediately light up brightly. "Now, pay close attention here." He smiles, thinking this guy is the absolute main character of everything, Damien Kane. The exact second Damien steps out, the whole arena erupts. The hype is unreal. The booming announcer screams, "The moment everyone wanted is finally here, the main event." Damien is a ridiculous sword prodigy, practically blessed with insane demonic levels of talent. He debuted at 17, and within 3 short months, he absolutely destroyed every fighter, claiming that top championship. And his opponent today? A freaking mountain troll. This massive beast stomps into the arena, bringing pure, suffocating terror. Raquel completely freezes. A real mountain troll is no laughing matter. Garden shakes with fear, grabbing his friend's arm. Seriously, what is this crazy place? Treating humans like monster snacks is totally horrifying. Down below, the beast charges, throwing an absolutely massive fist straight down at our boy. but Damien dodges the impact like it is nothing. Fast as lightning, the attack shatters the floor. The angry troll refuses to stop, aggressively smashing the ground with endless, heavy, raging, continuous strikes. Damien flows right through the chaos like rushing water. That huge monster cannot even scratch his jacket. Finding the perfect opening, Damien smoothly unsheathes his gleaming blade. The sharp steel reflects a freezing flash of light, completely changing the room's energy. He casually stares down the roaring beast, totally fearless. In one single breath, he unleashes a flawless slash, cutting the giant troll perfectly in half with zero effort. The enormous monster simply collapses hard into the dirt. Game absolutely over. You all saw that coming, right? The whole stadium goes dead silent in pure shock. Then, an ear-splitting roar from the crazy crowd literally shakes the arena walls. Every single person is standing and cheering for him. Raquel watches the hype, absolutely amazed, realizing this prodigy is way stronger than expected. This guy is a literal monster, a true main character, just as ridiculously powerful as rumored. His godly skills easily match Havel, history's greatest legendary swordsman. Raquel quickly snaps Garden out of his daze. Focus up, time to meet Damien. They barely approach the private locker room door before a huge guard blocks their path, aggressively demanding their identities. Raquel simply hands over a heavy gold bar in total silence. That guard changes his attitude instantly, stepping aside while bowing super respectfully. Raquel pushes inside super casually, grinning and apologizing for the interruption. Damien stays completely quiet. The swordmaster silently wipes away the battle mess, giving off an insanely dangerous aura. Raquel approaches him, his legs shaking slightly, constantly reminding himself not to panic. Just keep cool. He grabs a nearby medicine bottle off the table, dramatically shaking his head with overly exaggerated concern. You definitely should avoid relying on trashy painkillers like these. Damien finally speaks up, glaring fiercely, asking who he is. Raquel just smirks mysteriously, claiming he is someone Damien might need. Assuming he is just selling junk, Damien coldly orders him to leave immediately, already having enough supplies. Raquel carelessly tosses the worthless bottle away without looking. Cheap garbage like that will not fix anything. Instantly, Damien aggressively pulls his sword, his cold eyes filled with terrifying intent. Raquel never even flinches. No basic painkillers could ever cure that weird numbness deep in your head. So, what do you and I make of this? Damien looks stunned. Yep, the fish took the bait. He whips out a projection device, ready to give Damien a serious lesson. Raquel dives right in, explaining how every single symptom starts right at the skull's base. He lays it out perfectly. The intense ache spreads from the back of his head, straight down through his shoulders. You and I are probably wondering exactly how he figured all this out, right? He continues. At its absolute worst, the agony shoots through the temples, spreading across the forehead and eyes. During a bad episode, intense goosebumps break out, and cold sweat just pours down. The ache hits in massive waves, crashing and fading, with those quiet moments offering nothing but fake hope. Raquel states it super plainly. Just relying on regular painkillers fixes absolutely nothing. The main root cause remains. Damien's ears are practically ringing from all this endless talking. He thinks this guy never shuts up. A seriously furious urge stirs inside him. He genuinely thinks about stopping this chat permanently. Raquel wraps up, inviting Damien to talk. So Damien finally snaps and asks, "Who exactly is this guy?" Raquel states it plainly. He's the crown prince. Damien feels absolutely played. He draws his sword and aggressively swings. Raquel scrambles back quickly. "I was just joking. I'm here on behalf of Cussman." Damien's sword arm freezes. He isn't convinced, but he's listening closely. Raquel grabs the moment. Cussman is the underground arena's broker. Cussman mentioned that Damien is pretty unhappy with how his usual painkillers are totally losing their effect. Luckily for him, he brings a totally different solution. So here he is. He grins and asks, "Does that make him sound just a little more trustworthy?" Damien eyes him very skeptically. Did he bring better medicine? Raquel shakes his head. Zero medicine. They are going straight to the main source of his pain. He tells Damien to take off his shirt and lie face down. He will explain while working. Damien has major doubts, but he complies. Shirt off, lying down, just waiting. Raquel casually asks, is he scared? Damien shoots back instantly. He is a warrior. Of course not. Raquel nods, totally satisfied, and pulls out the glowing moxa stone, ready to begin. He carefully places the stone onto Damien's back. Now, pay close attention here. Raquel holds the torch, asking if it's Damien's first moxibustion, warning it will really hurt. Damien still looks completely unfazed, insisting he's a tough warrior who fears nothing. Then, the moxa stone instantly ignites. Pure agony explodes through his body. Damien lets out a scream so wild and raw, it echoes loudly enough for everyone standing way outside to clearly hear. Raquel can't help but tease him. Wasn't he just calling himself a brave warrior? What happened to that? He thinks to himself, yeah, it hurts, but Damien must endure it. Raquel knows exactly why Damien cannot leave this underground arena. It is all because of the dark mark on his back. That brand carries a heavy curse. Whenever his pulse speeds up, it triggers intense, searing pain. So, after every single fight, Damien is left writhing in unbearable agony. To dull the awful pain, he has no choice but to borrow money from Kussman for expensive painkillers. And to pay off that massive debt, he must keep fighting in the combat arena. An endless vicious cycle. Fight, take pills, fight again. With zero way out, Raquel knows the absolute, only real solution is burning away that cursed brand with extremely intense heat. You and I see his master plan. Raquel can barely hide his absolute glee, treating history's greatest swordsman while recruiting him too. Plus, this epic treatment magically adds to his own lifespan, catching multiple birds with just one single stone. Raquel steps back, proudly announcing the intense treatment is totally over, telling Damien he can get up. A large red mark burns across Damien's back as he trembles, slowly rising to his feet. Raquel watches with deep satisfaction, confirming the cursed brand has been sufficiently heated. He asks proudly, doesn't it feel a lot better? Has the awful pain disappeared? Damien looks genuinely surprised. He says it honestly doesn't hurt anymore. He feels completely refreshed. He admits it's been a really long time since he last felt this incredibly free. Raquel adds it isn't fully healed yet. A few more sessions will definitely be needed. He instructs Damien, if blisters form, don't touch them. Avoid greasy food, and don't overexert yourself. Damien looks totally confused, asking what exactly don't overexert means. Raquel gets exasperated. He calls Damien stubborn. It literally means, no more fighting. Damien looks deeply troubled, worried Kussman won't allow him to simply stop fighting. Raquel calmly reassures him, even if Kussman refuses, it doesn't matter at all. He has a solid plan. Damien finally lowers his guard, sincerely asking who Raquel truly is. He just wants Raquel to at least tell him his actual real name. Raquel repeats it very proudly. He already said it. He is the crown prince. Damien falls completely silent, clearly not buying a single word. Raquel says he completely understands Damien has his own personal reservations. Raquel doesn't bother explaining any further. He simply tells Damien to listen carefully and follow instructions. No matter what happens in the combat arena tonight, absolutely do not leave. Stay put. I know you're wondering what happens next. Raquel stresses. Only then will it be safe so the two of them can finally meet again. Damien is highly puzzled, but he kneels respectfully and agrees. On the way back, Garden just cannot hold it in. Stick with me here, this plan gets wild. Garden asks Raquel why they treated Damien in such a shady, illegal spot. Garden admits tonight's events make zero sense to him. Raquel just says he will understand soon. Then, he tells him to find a tall guy with narrow eyes and a black ponytail. Garden repeats the traits, scans the room, and spots the guy instantly. He whispers to Raquel that the target is right there. Raquel steps up, The face is a perfect match. He decides to confirm this face to face and walks right over, sitting straight across from Kusman. Kusman glares right back, his eyes totally screaming pure danger. Raquel calmly asks if he is talking to Mr. Kusman, but Kusman flat out denies it, claiming he knows nobody by that name. Raquel pushes back. Surely he knows, Damien. He straight up declares that he wants to buy Damien Kane. How much for everything, including the debt and contract fee? Kusman tosses out a totally insane price. 90 billion margin, and not a single coin less. That is a price only a crown prince could pay. Raquel just chuckles and says what a crazy coincidence. He actually is the crown prince. Kusman cracks up laughing. He does not buy a single word. He completely mocks Raquel. If Raquel is the crown prince, then Kusman must be the medicine peddling prince. Raquel totally plays dumb. He curiously asks what a medicine peddling prince would even be called. Kusman loses his patience and tells Raquel to get lost if he is not buying. Raquel turns around. Kusman glares, totally sizing him up. Kusman figures Raquel is a total newbie here. He waves over one of his guys and orders him to dig up Raquel's real identity immediately. Find out if he is a hunter or some hired muscle. If needed, interrogate him directly. Then, take him out the usual way and toss him in the river. An hour later, someone bursts inside in total panic, completely startling Kusman. Kusman recognizes the guy as Derry, the same subordinate he just sent out, totally beat up and collapsing right onto the floor. Pay close attention here. Kusman is completely stunned, urgently demanding what just happened. Right then, Raquel storms in leading a massive squad of royal guards. He rips off his wig, flashes the royal insignia, and his entire aura completely changes. His guards shout together, welcoming the crown prince on his secret inspection. Kusman is absolutely blindsided. He cannot even process what is happening right now. He is terrified, unable to believe royal guards actually crashed this place. Raquel declares who he is and orders a full sweep of the whole area for the attempted elimination of the crown prince. He specifically commands them to capture Kusman. He absolutely cannot be allowed to escape. The royal guards all shout yes and immediately push forward, completely locking down the entire floor. Garden is just stunned. Everything played out exactly how Raquel called it. Garden thinks to himself, His Highness is like a totally different person now. He never actually imagined His Highness would personally wipe out an entire underground criminal organization. Garden feels some serious admiration. His Highness genuinely cares about keeping the empire totally safe. You saw that coming, right? Raquel just claps his hands, happily pocketing his brand new lifespan reward. He calls out loud, totally mocking the search for that so-called medicine peddling prince. Kusman is absolutely losing his mind. If he gets caught, it is game over. He bolts through all the chaos, his mind totally spinning with pure panic. He just cannot understand it. How on earth is Raquel the actual crown prince? And why would he even want to buy Damien? He jumps right into the elevator, deciding to hide out and just wait for things to blow over. But the second those doors open, multiple swords are pointing straight at his face. Kusman has absolutely zero hope left. How did these guards beat him here? Raquel steps up with a smug grin, saying he knew Kusman would run exactly to this spot. Then he turns and grabs his 500 margin winnings from a bet with Garden. Kusman just stares, completely confused. Raquel just smiles and says Kusman could think all day and still never figure out why. Raquel says plainly that he takes his medical fees super seriously. He makes it clear, nothing annoys him more than unpaid bills. He hates owing people, and he really hates being owed. Kusman is beyond confused now. He has absolutely no clue what is happening. Raquel points out he asked about Damien's debt, but Kusman totally rejected his generous offer. Kusman completely snaps in rage. He screams that Raquel is talking nonsense, whips out two short blades, and lunges right at him. Boom! A royal guard punches him straight in the face halfway there, and he crashes down to the floor in a heap. Raquel just laughs softly behind his guard, looking completely at ease. The guard barks at Kusman to stay down if he knows what is best. Kussman grabs his nose, seething with anger, knowing he has to go all out right now. What do you and I make of this? He bites a hidden capsule, ready to release toxic gas in 5 seconds. This gas triggers instant paralysis, and at its worst, the final curtain call. Stick with me here. Kussman thinks he has a flawless plan. Spit it out, roll back, and strike Raquel while he is stunned. He silently counts down, waiting for that perfect strike. But suddenly, Raquel clamps a hand right over his mouth. Raquel smirks and asks if Kussman was trying to spit something out. Raquel finishes the countdown for him. Pop! The capsule bursts right inside Kussman's mouth. His entire body instantly goes totally numb, desperately fighting to stay awake. He knows he will be totally out in 3 minutes. He desperately grabs at his pocket for the life-saving antidote, but Raquel is way faster. He slips his hand in first, smoothly pulling out that precious little vial. Raquel smugly teases that Kussman must be incredibly desperate to know his secret, but he is not telling. Then, right in front of him, he pops the vial open. While Kussman watches in pure panic, Raquel casually chugs the antidote himself. Raquel wrinkles his nose, complaining that it tastes absolutely awful. Kussman shakes with pure fury, desperate to grab it back. Raquel just tosses the empty vial away, saying he cannot hand things over that easily. After all, he has to make someone sick before curing them. That is exactly how he collects his FEs. Watch this closely. The system pings, releasing a tiny trace of medicine right as Kussman completely collapses. Foaming at the mouth, he crashes down. Raquel moves in with absolute precision, instantly locating the exact pressure point right below the 5th thoracic spine. He presses down hard on the acupoint. Kussman jolts awake, spitting out dark fluid. Raquel instantly gives him the fully prepared antidote. He precisely controls the dosage, dropping just the right amount from his ring. Kussman quickly shifts from total agony straight into relief. The toxins are completely purged, saving him. Then, his treatment fee skill activates. By detoxifying him, Raquel gets a major boost. The system tallies up, giving him 4 extra days, bumping his total remaining lifespan to 118 days. Raquel cheers wildly. He finally earned a lifespan reward from actual treatment. He orders Kussman taken away and locked up, leaving him strictly with the royal guards. Raquel tells everyone to clean the mess, then gets ready to head back with Garden. Nearby, the royal guards are in a seriously tense standoff with Damien and his swordsman. These guards are completely rattled. They never thought underground gladiators could be this incredibly strong. Raquel strolls over, asking Damien if he told him to wait. The second the guards spot Raquel, they immediately bow, greeting His Highness, the Crown Prince. You and I saw this coming, right? Damien is absolutely stunned, finally realizing the truth. Raquel smiles, asking if he believes him now. Damien silently sheathes his blade, completely dropping his intense guard. The very next day, Damien gets trapped in another nightmare. The dream looks exactly like the tragic day he lost his mother. Full of dread, Damien realizes he is reliving the painful moment he was abandoned. Inside the dream, pure despair surrounds him, bringing back that crushing memory of being left totally alone. Suddenly, a voice calls out. Damien jolts awake, shooting straight upright in his bed. Smiling brightly, Garden extends a hand, formally introducing himself as Piero Garden, the prince's personal doctor. Damien shakes it, introducing himself as Damien Kane, but Garden quickly cuts him off, urging him to hurry up. Today's schedule is super packed. They quickly arrive at the special treatment room, where all the gladiator swordsmen are already waiting on beds. Looking around completely confused, Damien asks what this weird place is. Raquel casually replies, "It is obviously a treatment room." A confused swordsman asks why Raquel wants to treat them after saving them. Raquel just smirks to himself. He is definitely not running a charity here. He is just here for the lifespan points. Since they are all young, treating them means a massive system payout. But saying that out loud would make him sound totally crazy. So Raquel plays it cool, saying nothing is free. He is not doing this out of kindness, claiming he actually suffers from a serious illness. His health has always been incredibly poor. One guy eagerly raises a hand, confirming the whole empire already knows His Highness is famously frail and weak. Raquel secretly decides to make that guy's treatment hurt extra. Clearing his throat, he explains that none of the palace doctors could ever cure him. No matter what they try, his condition just keeps dropping. Raquel glances over. Does Damien get it yet? Trust me, you will love what happens next. Stick with me here. They realize Raquel is testing new treatments. Raquel proudly nods. Then he asks Damien honestly, how did that intense session actually feel? Damien answers him straight up. The agonizing pain is totally gone. The other tough swordsmen hear this, and immediately think, if Damien fully trusts this method, they have absolutely nothing to worry about. Raquel asks if anyone is afraid of the next treatment. The room stays totally silent. Every single guy is ready. Raquel is secretly hyped, quickly ordering everyone to take their shirts off and lie straight down on the medical beds. The room instantly fills with wild shouting and the loud sizzle of moxibustion. 6 days later, cursed marks are angrily flaring on all the swordsmen. They are totally miserable. Raquel watches, realizing things are going terribly wrong. Cold sweats and terrible withdrawal symptoms hit hard. He realizes it is intense fallout from heavy painkiller addiction. The moxibustion must stop right now. However, Damien stays super quiet. Raquel walks over, looking very confused, asking if Damien feels dizzy or sick. Damien honestly admits he feels super dizzy. Raquel pushes further, asking about nausea. Damien calmly replies, yes, but he is just quietly enduring the struggle. He refuses to let anyone see him suffer. Raquel is completely shocked. This is literally just pure protagonist plot armor doing its magic. He knows he must switch to another healing method. Raquel proudly announces the daily session is over, sending every single guy back to rest up. He pulls Sergio aside, telling him to stay back. Raquel kindly asks if those awful withdrawal symptoms are making him feel completely terrible today. Sergio stubbornly insists he is fine, hating to be a burden. Raquel kindly orders him down. He looks incredibly rough. Raquel suddenly reveals a shiny needle. Raquel honestly doubts if this crazy acupuncture idea will even work. He bravely decides to target the foot Yangming stomach meridian, carefully picking the tricky Li Dui point to begin the process. Watch closely here. After inserting that needle, Sergio totally snaps, violently grabbing Raquel right by the throat with absolutely crushing force. He has totally lost his mind, using his absolute maximum strength trying to eliminate Raquel. Suddenly, a massive strike knocks Sergio completely out, saving Raquel right at the final second. Damien quickly reaches out, his face showing major panic, begging to know if Raquel survived. Raquel is super shaken, taking his hand while whispering he is okay. He realizes those crazy withdrawal symptoms definitely caused Sergio to completely lose his mind earlier. He quickly realizes to fix these symptoms completely, he needs incredibly tiny needles. Later that night, the local blacksmith finally replies. He claims he can easily forge thread-thin needles, but absolutely cannot guarantee they will be perfectly uniform. The guy claims, unless you find a dwarf blacksmith, perfection is completely impossible. Raquel feels massive panic rising. The tough swordsmen are getting so much worse every day. Let us pause here. A wild system alert drops. His own internal organs actually sense his extreme stress. The strange system warns that stress causes major illness, offering a magical way to relieve the pressure. Raquel's eyes instantly light up. He excitedly begs for the answer. The system explains his banked HP can easily unlock epic skills or summon a super rare fantasy beast. The magical system reveals a custom gacha roll costing exactly 300 HP. Raquel never even hesitates, eagerly confirming he wants that special fantasy beast gacha roll. The system rapidly processes his daring choice, instantly deducting 300 HP. Raquel shouts out his weird requirement. He desperately needs a beast supplying incredibly tiny needles. The system locks in his request, dropping 3 mysterious boxes right before him. Option 1 gets happy only when bored. Option 2 is a metal dung launcher. Option 3 is literally a wildly strange, pooping little cactus. The system strictly warns choices are highly permanent. You must choose incredibly carefully. Raquel easily guesses 1 is the mega jackpot, 1 is totally average, and the last one is a massive failure. Raquel agonizes over this crazy choice forever, until his beating heart literally cannot handle the intense suspense, basically forcing his shaking hand to pick candidate 3, that pooping cactus. Raquel sweats with major embarrassment, but quickly accepts his fate. The system finally confirms the weird pooping cactus is locked in. Raquel desperately prays to the heavens that this funny little guy is his absolute jackpot prize. The prize box slowly pops open, revealing an incredibly chubby hedgehog. The guide reveals feeding him magical sunflower seeds totally changes his size. Red seeds make the little guy turn massively gigantic for 12 whole hours. Blue seeds shrink him fast, but must be eaten before time runs out. Best part? Little Spike has an absolutely epic infinite quill skill. Pulled quills will immediately grow back. His amazing chestnut assault skill lets him transform to shoot 3 colorful types of quills with massive power. Raquel carefully asks the little guy if he can safely pluck those tiny quills to use for his important medical treatment. So what do we learn today? Pulling his cute quills brings absolutely zero pain. Stick with me here, this gets wild. Raquel asks for a white, brown, and black quill. Little Spike instantly fires all 3. Raquel catches them. White is basic, but the brown one? It packs a spicy, super sharp kick that is absolutely perfect for the swordsman. Little Spike squeaks a bunch of weird noises, leaving Raquel totally confused about what the black quill does. He just can't figure it out, and gets a seriously bad vibe. He decides to test the mysterious black quill on somebody else later. Problem completely solved. Raquel cheerfully announces that Little Spike is officially his awesome new partner from this day onward. Back inside the clinic, Garden spots Little Spike. He stares in total shock, wondering what this creature is. Raquel makes Little Spike say hi and drops its new name casually. Then, he totally spins a wild, completely fake origin story for the little guy. He absolutely cannot expose his secret system. Raquel dodges the tricky question entirely, telling Garden to just ask Little Spike. Meanwhile, Garden is absolutely freaking out internally. He instantly recognizes this as a ridiculously rare, legendary fantasy beast. He remembers that a true fantasy beast only ever bonds with a single master in life. They are incredibly priceless. He just cannot fathom how the prince managed to score one. When Sergio finally wakes up and spots Raquel, he instantly begs forgiveness for yesterday's wild behavior. Raquel just brushes it off. Losing your mind from that intense pain makes total sense. But pay attention, here is where it gets crazy. Before Sergio even blinks, Raquel rapidly inserts the needles again. Moving with absolute flawless precision, he quickly treats the remaining swordsmen one by one. In no time, every single guy in the room is needled up, perfectly fine. Then, the system suddenly chimes. The treatment fee activates for all 14 people at once. For fixing those cursed brands, Raquel scores 80 extra lifespan days instantly. His skill levels up, slightly boosting the payout ratio. Raquel is absolutely ecstatic. He never even guessed a healing skill could upgrade. Meanwhile, Damien is totally lost, wondering why getting cured makes the prince look so incredibly happy. Raquel checks his shiny new status panel and thinks the swordsman issue is completely resolved. He silently decides that it is officially time to kick off the next big phase. A few days later, Raquel pulls Damien aside to check on his recovery. Damien honestly admits that he still feels a super tiny, lingering tingle in his body. Raquel casually declares that Damien is totally done with moxibustion treatments. He makes it official. The burning needle phase is over. Fully healed. Damien immediately bows, desperate to show his massive gratitude, but Raquel just raises a hand. He stops him, demanding Damien hear him out first. Raquel admits he loves Damien's blade skills. You and I know where this is going. He drops the bomb and asks Damien to be his personal bodyguard. Raquel pushes hard, offering him huge piles of cash, full vacation days, and a retirement pension. A totally full package. Because Raquel knows perfectly well that Damien is right on the edge of reaching Sword Master. Hitting that epic tier guarantees Swordmaster syndrome, meaning Damien's terrible insomnia will get infinitely worse than before. Raquel is smart. Curing him won't buy loyalty. He needs a seriously sweet, mutually beneficial deal. Since Damien stays perfectly quiet, Raquel aggressively throws in flexible hours and housing perks. The guy still won't budge. So, Al drops the ultimate legendary bait. 3 entire days off per week. Absolutely irresistible. Before Damien can even mutter a word, all the swordsmen behind him explosively charge forward. They loudly declare they want that amazing cash, want to repay their debt, and desperately want to guard the prince. Raquel is completely torn between laughing and crying. Turns out, these guys just want the epic benefits package. Honestly though, Raquel actually loves this straightforwardness. It is way better than guys who preach fake loyalty, but cheat you later. Raquel silently realizes that owning a private squad loyal only to him is a huge advantage. The royal guards only serve the emperor, after all. He immediately seals the deal right there. Everyone passes. They are now his exclusive, overpowered protection unit. He officially dubs them the Special Guard Unit, feeling incredibly proud of himself. But wait. Raquel notices the lifespan payout for group healing is actually terrible. Even if he cures someone's massive 100-year sickness, he gets a measly 10 days of life added back to his clock. He complains that dragging his ridiculously weak body around to hunt individual patients is impossible. He absolutely must invent a truly flawless master plan right now. Far away, Emperor Astrio gets the shocking report about Raquel's brand new army. A nervous minister explains that 14 powerful swordsmen are now the prince's personal bodyguards. They are called the Special Guard Unit, strictly assigned to protect His Highness, and the prince is tossing crazy amounts of money at them. The emperor realizes his bedridden son just casually forged a private army. So what do you and I make of this? Things just got insanely interesting. Stick with me. You and I are about to watch him unleash pure chaos, repeatedly poking the gathered palace staff with needles. The emperor looks completely baffled. He has absolutely zero clue what Raquel is actually doing. Back at the palace, acupuncture sessions are in full swing. The patients are covered in needles everywhere. They seriously look like little hedgehogs. Raquel yells out loud, "Next!" Everyone rushes forward, fighting for the next spot. Just days ago, Raquel opened a wild clinic right inside his own palace walls. In a few short days, he treated over 500 patients. So far. Eventually, Raquel totally loses his mind and yells, "Why is everyone so incredibly healthy?" He paces back and forth, feeling absolute agony. 500 patients just gave him 2 extra days of life. Not nearly enough. Suddenly, his eyes spark with a totally brilliant idea. Garden quickly brings over a massive stack of papers, reporting all 500 survey forms are finally completed. He confirms that family backgrounds, ages, and medical histories are all perfectly recorded as instructed. Raquel smirks internally. If his staff is healthy, he will investigate their families instead today. He feels totally certain that among all these relatives, someone has to be a seriously ill patient. He frantically flips through the pages, finding 0 serious cases. Growing super frustrated, poor Raquel is honestly right on the verge of breaking. Watch closely now. Why is everyone healthy? Only 10 papers are actually left. Damien suddenly speaks up with a grave look, asking if Raquel views sick patients as mere tools. The harsh question leaves him completely speechless. Looking super guilty, he freezes. Damien adds, "Right now, you look like you are desperately hunting for people on the verge of fading away." Raquel has been totally called out. Garden quickly jumps in, loudly scolding Damien for talking out of turn. But Raquel quietly admits Damien was not wrong. Damien turns around to defend Garden, saying Raquel should never put a loyal servant in awkward spots. Garden keeps defending his prince, totally refusing to let Damien show any disrespect. Watching them bicker, Raquel gets irritated and chases them both out. Rubbing his head in pure frustration, he realizes only 10 surveys remain. Suddenly, one particular survey catches his eye. It reads, "My 8-year-old brother suffers convulsions every month. His wild symptoms look exactly like possession, and no real cause was ever found." Even the clergy were totally lost, offering only prayers to banish what they called an evil spirit. Raquel opens his eyes wide and shouts in pure excitement. He finally found a real patient to treat. He immediately summons the 2 siblings. The older sister arrives nervously, holding her little brother by the hand. Trembling, she shyly introduces the boy, Giorgio. Raquel steps over, crouches down, and greets the little boy super gently. Giorgio responds with intense nervous energy. "You and I know how scary this is." He is absolutely terrified facing the mighty crown prince. Raquel smiles, telling the boy to just call him Big Brother. He knows the best way to calm a kid is simple candy. Reaching into his pocket, he pulls out a piece of candy, offering it gently to the very nervous boy. Giorgio gets super excited seeing the candy exactly as planned. Raquel smiles gently, holding it out and saying it is a special gift. But to his total shock, Giorgio shrinks back in fear. He refuses to be touched. Raquel pulls his hand away, gently asking why. Giorgio lowers his head, quietly whispering, he is cursed by an evil spirit and cannot ever be touched. Hurt, he adds that everyone constantly laughs at him, calling him a very strange and weird child. Shaking his head, Raquel seriously tells Giorgio he is not strange. Giorgio slowly starts describing his symptoms. Sometimes he feels incredibly weird, and his body turns freezing cold. Everything shakes and goes totally numb, feeling like he is floating before violently crashing straight down. Every single time he wakes up, he feels completely drained and super weak. Raquel listens closely and nods slowly. He already knows exactly what is wrong here. He reaches out, gently hugging Giorgio, softly saying that surviving all of that and getting back up takes real, unbelievable courage. Giorgio chokes up, begging Raquel not to touch him. He fears his evil spirit might actually bring the prince terrible misfortune. Raquel quietly shakes his head, soothing Giorgio while he discreetly checks his pulse. He secretly examines him, determining this is just epilepsy triggered by irregular brainwave activity. Raquel internally confirms this is simply what people call the falling sickness. Zero evil spirits involved. Looking Giorgio in the eye, he states clearly he is just sick, not possessed. He smiles, reminding him he is the crown prince. "Trust me, you will want to see what happens next." Giorgio turns pale. Something suddenly feels very wrong. "Alright, stick with me here." Raquel's heart drops. He never expected an episode right now. Damien instantly pulls his sword, yelling at Raquel to step back. But Raquel urgently shouts him down. This is definitely not some evil spirit. It is a medical emergency. He insists the patient needs immediate care, because right now, young Giorgio is suffering the absolute most. Raquel quickly shouts for Garden to grab a soft pillow. They gently prop the boy's head up. Anxious, Garden asks if they should wipe away the foam around his mouth. Raquel instantly shakes his head. Giorgio's jaw is locked tight. Shoving a cloth inside could make him choke. He explains they absolutely cannot intervene right now. They just have to let the episode pass naturally, then carefully tend to the exhausted boy. Suddenly, Raquel feels a strange mana flow. He instantly remembers the legendary Astrahan heart method. This method flawlessly traces mana flow, basically like an X-ray for body energy circulation. It might actually reveal the true hidden source of the episodes. He fires up the Astrahan heart method immediately, pouring all his intense focus into Giorgio's internal mana movement. Raquel sees the problem perfectly. Giorgio's internal mana is pure chaos, wildly surging in absolutely every direction. Watch closely. You and I know chances like this are incredibly rare. He focuses. Raquel meticulously traces through the body's pathways. double-checking the spinal and cranial nerves one by single one. Wiping away freezing sweat, he fights through his own intense physical pain, desperate for answers. Maintaining absolute concentration, Raquel presses on until he finally locks onto the vagus nerve. His heart completely leaps with massive, confirmed excitement. That vagus nerve is firing faulty signals, triggering these episodes. Raquel quickly orders the team to gently drape a warm blanket over Giorgio for quiet rest. He orders them to stay totally quiet, but before finishing the sentence, freezing sweat drenches his skin, and his exhausted body suddenly goes completely limp. Collapsing forward, his final thought is pure victory. They have a treatment plan. Waking up that evening, Raquel realizes he drained his energy entirely. He definitely pushed the Astrahan heart method to its absolute breaking point. He immediately asks Damien about Giorgio. Damien explains the kid woke up near dusk, looking completely drained, exhausted, and incredibly weak. Raquel nods, totally relieved. Those episodes naturally take a massive physical toll on anyone. Jumping out of bed, he quietly marvels. Who knew this magical heart method could literally replace modern, precise medical diagnostic tools? Raquel is absolutely certain the vagus nerve is the problem. And the only perfect treatment here? Direct vagus nerve electrical stimulation. I know what you're thinking. He needs a literal lightning strike. Raquel rushes straight to the palace with Damien to find the court mage. Declaring his identity, he orders the royal guards toward Janatus's personal chamber. The loyal royal guard wastes zero time, leading Raquel straight there. Arriving quickly, Raquel shoves the door open without hesitation. Inside, Janatus stands wearing absolutely adorable pajamas, looking incredibly shocked. Janatus cannot fathom why Raquel is here so late. But Raquel cuts the small talk. This is extremely urgent, and he needs magic immediately. He bluntly demands that Janatus blast his back with raw lightning magic. Janatus completely freezes up. He seriously cannot believe his ears. Internally grumbling, he thinks the prince changed and somehow became way crazier than before. Janatus absolutely refuses. He simply cannot bring himself to harm the crown prince. Raquel clarifies it is not harm, just mild static stimulation. He only needs a steady, precise discharge for 3 hours. Janatus pulls a wildly pained face. This ridiculous request is asking way too much. So Raquel pours on the flattery, saying, that is exactly why only Janatus can succeed. Perfect mana control is his ultimate specialty. He is, after all, the Empire's absolute greatest mage. Those words totally work. Deep down, Janatus actually wants to try this, but hesitation remains. If things fail, he takes all the brutal blame. Raquel instantly promises that all the responsibility falls entirely on him. Zero questions asked. Gesturing at Damien and his guards, he confirms they will be official witnesses. Raquel stares intensely. He is not joking around, he is saving a child. Janatus finally surrenders, agreeing to help. So, when does this wild treatment start? Raquel does not hesitate for one single second. Right now, his mind is totally set. He cannot test this dangerous spell on Giorgio. He will test it on himself first. Janatus gets into position, asking if he is ready. Activating the Astrahan heart method, Raquel gives a firm nod. Janatus immediately unleashes his spell. A powerful static current surges straight into his body. Raquel is amazed. A true court mage is built different. This mana control is flawless. He instantly channels the heart method, perfectly absorbing that current into a stable, therapeutic healing charge. He is buzzing. Trust me, you and I are watching a lifetime cure begin today. Stick with me here. You're about to see Raquel realize his Astrahan heart method is completely broken. His palace is buzzing. The curious attendants are all wondering, what exactly is His Highness planning today? Word gets around that Raquel invited the biggest palace gossips, and absolutely everyone crowds in to watch this epic show unfold. Raquel faces Uriel and is totally upfront that this treatment might sting a bit, but promises to be extremely careful. He just smiles, pointing out Uriel was already pricked by a needle earlier and completely missed it. Raquel then gives Janatus the signal to begin the next treatment phase. Janatus nods back and blasts lightning magic straight at Raquel. He just nods inwardly. The lightning absorption goes perfectly, and the conversion holds steady. He intentionally lets the massive crowd watch and gossip freely. This wild spectacle is literally a walking advertisement for his clinic. Raquel sharpens his focus, ready to channel the processed current into Uriel. He finds the exact location of the vagus nerve and prepares for the final step. But Raquel suddenly frowns hard. He senses a crazy, abnormal fluctuation in his mana. His stomach drops. This mana disruption keeps getting worse. It might blow anytime. Uriel weakly asks him just how much longer he has to hold on like this. Raquel's mind races. 3 minutes tops before the seizure strikes again. Worst case, everything goes completely sideways in a single minute. He must carve that corrective signal into the electrode before another huge seizure hits. Pay close attention here. Even at maximum power, his heart method takes 30 minutes to finish. He thinks about stopping now, but completely rules it out. One public seizure today, and those nasty rumors will totally spiral out of control. So, Al quickly gives the order to triple the lightning magic intensity. Janatus warns that tripling the power will put Raquel through absolutely tremendous pain. But Raquel does not blink. Pain means nothing when a life is on the line. Janatus says nothing else. He goes completely all out, unleashing the amplified lightning at full force. Insane pain tears right through Raquel's weakened body, but he must absorb enough mana before that seizure hits. He locks onto the target in his mind. The final electrode placement is right at the carotid artery. 5 seconds left on the clock. Raquel tears through frayed nerve signals at blazing speed. Giorgio's body suddenly starts to convulse. A major seizure is literally seconds away. The crowd cries out in pure panic while Raquel frantically fixes the neural disruption with 4 seconds left. The final second ticks away. Raquel completes every single correction. The treatment works perfectly. Giorgio pulls back from the edge of convulsion and slowly returns to a completely stable state. Raquel breathes out quietly, gently, asking if Giorgio feels okay now. His sister is in total shock. Before this, he would always lose consciousness the very moment a seizure started. That was way too close, Raquel thinks to himself. A lingering numbness still pulses through him. You saw that, right? The system chimes. Tier 2 treatment adds 3 lifespan days. Remaining lifespan sits at 161 days. The system keeps going. The Azrahan heart method levels up, and the mana amplification rate jumps dramatically. The metal control's wood principle activates. Next, his liver awakens, happily donating 300 HP. The lungs, heart, and large intestine join the crazy party, chipping in a combined 500 HP. Then the liver throws a bonus celebration, tossing in another 300 HP. Total HP hits 1,300. Giorgio speaks up confused, saying he feels super strange. Raquel warmly reassures him there is nothing strange about him at all. Giorgio explains that his vision used to go black as his body completely spiraled out of control. But this time, none of that actually happened. Raquel gives a firm promise that this horrible suffering is never coming back. Giorgio can hardly believe it. His eyes go totally wide and bright, asking if Raquel actually means it. Raquel gives his absolute word, even joking that if he is lying, Giorgio can take his throne. That is all Giorgio needs to hear. He breaks into a huge grin, throwing his arms around his sister. Raquel is quietly over the moon. The epic treatment worked, and the plan went off perfectly. He casually scans the huge crowd. This is exactly the big moment that will put his clinic on the map. Raquel cheers inside, urging everyone to come visit the palace annex. He is definitely going to cure his way to a prosperous life. But sadly, the excitement fades fast. Intense dizziness hits Raquel hard, and the entire world blurs around him. Later, Raquel wakes up lying in bed, absolutely aching all over, having no idea how long he slept. Garden hears him moving and chokes out that Raquel is finally awake. Hearing this, Raquel manages a grin. He asks if they literally have nothing better to do than watch him sleep. Garden quickly answers that they have been by his side all along. Everyone has been totally worried sick. Garden bursts into heavy tears, praying without stopping for Raquel to just open his eyes. Raquel's chest tightens. Trust me, we didn't expect this either. Damien tells him gravely that Raquel was completely unconscious for 2 full days. Raquel's jaw literally drops. 2 whole days? He can barely believe it. Stick with me. Janeda steps forward, looking completely miserable, haggard and totally hollow-eyed. He desperately asks Raquel how he should explain to the Emperor that the Crown Prince got knocked out by lightning magic. Raquel just gives this awkward laugh and quietly apologizes to him. Then his mind immediately jumps to Jojo, asking how the kid is doing. Right on cue, Jojo pops out from behind everyone, announcing loud and clear that he is perfectly fine. Raquel blinks. Why is Jojo here anyway? The kid grins, explaining he begged Garden non-stop until he was finally allowed to just stay and wait. He pulls out a handmade gift, saying he really wanted to deliver it to Raquel in person. The very second he woke up, Raquel takes the necklace quietly, feeling a sharp pang of guilt. He only saved Jojo for that sweet lifespan reward. Then Jojo suddenly calls out with bright, earnest eyes. The boy has a dream. He says he wants to become someone great, someone who helps people like Raquel. Something totally warm stirs in Raquel's chest. He genuinely tells Jojo the necklace is beautiful. Jojo beams with absolute delight and Raquel accepts the gift with both hands. Raquel sincerely tells him that seeing Jojo healthy again is already the greatest gift he could ever ask for. He clears his throat to hide his emotions, saying he is tired and needs rest. Everyone bows respectfully and quietly files out, leaving Raquel to recover in total peace. Gurjo waves goodbye, cheerfully promising they will meet again soon. Raquel answers softly, watching them go. He absently runs his fingers over the new necklace. He grumbles quietly, no gemstones, just plain string. Who in their right mind would actually ever wear this? And then, with the necklace still on, Raquel falls fast asleep, and for once, dreams incredibly well. After resting up, Raquel launches a full-scale flyer campaign for the brand new clinic. People on the street stop dead in their tracks, eyeing the strange flyer contents with pure curiosity. The flyers list all sorts of wild treatments, naming Raquel and Garden as the ones in charge. Raquel is quietly confident that word about the clinic has definitely spread by now. Garden suddenly steps up, reminding him it is time to head to the palace annex and prep for opening day. Raquel straightens up, energy totally surging back. Today is the grand opening of the palace annex clinic. On the way there, Garden literally cannot help himself. He asks where Raquel learned all this crazy medicine. He lists off all the potions, the wild, acupuncture for pain relief, stuff totally foreign to him. Garden openly admits he has been losing sleep trying to understand the logic behind it all. His voice totally drops. Not understanding it makes him feel completely useless. Raquel really feels for him. He knows exactly how that awful sense of helplessness feels. Now watch closely. Raquel goes quiet for a moment, then finally comes clean. He is from another world. He explains his real name there was Li Hun, not the Crown Prince Raquel. Just a totally ordinary guy who made his humble living through medicine. That is exactly how he knows all this. Garden looks completely annoyed. He just bared his entire soul, and Raquel is still joking around instead of being honest with him. Raquel just smiles warmly and says that was his honest truth. Garden says earnestly that he truly wants to become a better doctor, to feel that exact same sense of fulfillment that Raquel feels. Raquel sincerely tells him he already is. He does not linger though. He nudges Garden to get moving. They have major work before opening. Raquel quietly thinks none of this success would be possible without Garden by his side. Then, the intense nerves finally kick in. What if people are too intimidated by the massive palace to come in? The more he thinks about it, the more incredibly panicked he gets. His old trauma responses are seriously threatening to flare up again. He paces around, praying with everything he has. Please let this clinic be packed. You and I expected a massive crowd, right? He flings the window open to yell welcome, but outside, nobody, empty. Hope completely drains out of Raquel instantly. He blew it. He turns away deflated, basically drowning in deep disappointment and heavy embarrassment. Then Garden suddenly calls out in excitement, telling him to look right down below the palace. Raquel leans over the edge and looks, finding the entire base of the palace absolutely packed with countless people waiting to be seen. Raquel's heart soars. A massive grand opening really does make all the difference. He throws himself straight into rapid consultations, questioning patients, writing quick prescriptions, moving at absolute full speed. An attendant suddenly rushes up, panicking, asking what they should do. Raquel easily rattles off strict instructions without missing a beat. Go around and check every patient. Find out where it hurts. Then he snaps at whoever is brewing the medicine, saying not like that. That is not how you do it. He frowns deeply to himself. The entire care process is a complete mess. It will take serious time to build proper, working systems. Suddenly, the system chimes in. All those intense consultations have pushed the pulse reading skill to Tier 2. Tier 2 pulse reading can actually generate a full diagnostic report, linking directly with the organs for a crazy deep level examination. Raquel blinks, shocked. All 5 organs join the pulse reading. Trust me, you and I need these fast results next. Stick with me here. Heart and lungs look totally fine, but this patient's liver is about to reveal everything. This older man is showing clear signs of hepatitis. Drinking stops right now. Raquel whispers, asking if the liver is genuinely failing that badly. The liver instantly fires back. It has been processing pure alcohol at maximum overload for 50 long, exhausting years. Raquel is completely blown away. These organ diagnostics are scary accurate. He has to awaken the rest of his dormant organs as fast as possible. Raquel looks the old guy right in the eye. His liver function is totally wrecked. He prescribes a 10-day medicine course. Raquel is completely serious. Starting today, not a single drop of alcohol. He lays it out flat. Keep drinking, and he will not survive for another 5 years. The old man just grimaces. He admits, without alcohol, he simply cannot eat. Raquel instantly flips the switch. Speaking as crown prince, he issues a royal decree: break this rule, and you go straight to prison. Evening finally falls, and Raquel announces that consultations are done. Non-urgent patients will just have to wait until tomorrow. His attendants gather around him, checking in and worrying they did not do a good enough job. Raquel flashes a warm smile. He does not entirely feel. He tells everyone they did absolutely great, and to keep it up tomorrow. Honestly, he is already missing his old colleagues back home. Suddenly, Garden comes running in absolute panic. A very critical patient just arrived. This is the eldest son of the Dallaire family. He begs Raquel to save his mother. Once the patient is settled, Raquel asks exactly when this fever first started. They say chills began late afternoon, and by nightfall, the fever was totally raging. Now watch closely. He takes her pulse, his expression instantly drops, and he realizes everything. Typhus. He is stunned. This was the exact disease that completely wiped out Napoleon's armies. The exact same illness that took down hundreds of thousands of soldiers. This is easily history's most dangerous infectious disease. Raquel checks internally with his liver. Is this diagnosis absolutely certain? The liver confirms it without hesitation. It spots the rickettsia bacteria directly inside the patient's internal system. Raquel asks them when the patient last bathed. They answer she washes every single day in hot boiled water. Raquel just frowns at this. How does someone with daily hygiene end up catching this? He asks another quick question. Has the patient been anywhere near lice or fleas recently? The family thinks back and nods quickly. 2 weeks ago, during a long journey, they actually stopped overnight at a farmhouse. That farmhouse couple gave up their own bed for her to sleep in all night. Raquel runs the quick math in his head. Falling ill today lines up perfectly with that 2-week exact incubation period. You and I see it now. Every symptom, Every timeline detail fits this terrible disease perfectly. Raquel bluntly tells the family she was infected at that farmhouse. They just stare blankly at him. They have zero idea what being infected even means. He gives them the short version. She has typhus, an incredibly dangerous disease spread entirely through the nasty bite of body lice. The patient is older and has been running a massive fever. Her condition is already critical. Raquel starts giving orders. Strip all her clothing, wipe her down with warm water, and dress her in a clean, patient gown. Someone nervously asks what to do with the currently removed clothes. His voice turns sharp. Burn every single piece of clothing and bedding immediately. Absolutely everyone handling those materials must bathe afterward and burn their own clothes as well. Anyone disobeying gets dismissed and held completely accountable. The entire room snaps straight to attention. Everyone agrees instantly. Raquel turns to the family, telling them to send someone back home right away to pass along these exact instructions. Within seconds, absolutely everyone splits up and moves out, following his orders. Raquel gets straight to work on medicine. He picks Gegan decoction, the perfect formula for an acute heat type of severe illness. It is a powerfully strong fever-reducing and pain-relieving formula using ephedra and kudzu. Raquel administers the medicine himself, helping her drink slowly to ease that intense burning fever. He assigns 3 attendants on shift to keep watch over her around the clock, but 3 full days pass with absolutely zero signs of improvement. The fever rages on, draining her strength every hour. Raquel realizes the Gegan decoction alone is just not going to be enough. Her yin-yang balance has totally collapsed, with yin energy suffering heavy damage. Restoring that balance is now the ultimate priority. Only then will this medicine actually be able to do its job. He urgently needs a rare, potent ingredient to powerfully replenish her yin energy, but even the organs draw completely blank at this critical moment. Suddenly, it hits him. The Imperial Secret Vault, where super rare treasures are kept. He yells to Garden to get the carriage ready immediately. The vault holds world-class magical artifacts, and trust me, you and I absolutely need to see what happens next. Stick with me here. This is his only shot at the vault. Security is insanely strict, but since Raquel is the crown prince, he has just enough power to pull this off. He marches straight to the emperor, making a formal entrance as crown prince. Honestly, the old man is totally stunned. Why show up in the dead of night? Raquel skips the small talk. He needs access to the Imperial Secret Vault right now. A dying patient desperately needs a very specific, rare ingredient. The emperor demands, what does that have to do with his vault? Raquel shoots back. The vault holds the one thing that can save her. The emperor replies, ice cold. He senses zero sincerity from his son. He flat out accuses Raquel of using the patient to sneak inside. But internally, the emperor is actually grinning, quietly thrilled by how much his son has finally changed. Raquel groans inside. The old man is baiting him on purpose. He stands up, totally urgent and impatient. Every single second matters right now. The patient is barely hanging on, but the emperor just coldly replies, prove it. Show him the diagnosis is real. After all, Raquel spent years stuck in bed with absolutely zero formal medical training. He totally refuses to believe Raquel just magically mastered advanced medicine overnight. Watch closely now. Raquel takes a deep breath, realizing this is a test to see what he can really do. The emperor lays out a simple test. Diagnose the royal guard captain perfectly, and the vault doors open for him. He confidently declares there is no way Raquel can expose the captain's true condition. Raquel steps right up and checks his pulse. The emperor feels incredibly smug. It is a heavily guarded secret, but seconds later, Raquel just blurts it right out. The tough royal guard captain has severe circular alopecia. Both men freeze in pure shock. Absolute silence drops. The emperor panics, especially since the captain's hair looks thick and perfectly healthy. Raquel answers by just reaching over and ripping the captain's wig right off. He was faking it the entire time. With the bald truth finally exposed, the tough captain instantly bursts into hysterical tears. Sobbing his eyes out, he mentally curses this absolutely terrifying father and son duo. We are left with one devastated guard and an emperor who totally lost his bet. Raquel does not stick around. He waves Damien over, pushes open the door, and leaves. Damien, who heard every single word, quietly mutters that ripping a man's wig off is horribly cruel. Raquel brushes it off. He can fix the baldness later. Right now, saving a life is priority number one. They finally arrive at their destination. Staring up at the Imperial secret vault, Raquel feels a massive rush of pure anticipation. The guards bow deeply, welcoming Crown Prince Raquel inside. A guard hands over the official badge needed to enter and exit. Taking it, Raquel casually asks, "What happens if someone walks in without one?" The guard gravely explains that every single deadly defensive spell triggers automatically. Plus, the badge carries a super strict time limit. If you overstay your limit, you will literally die inside. "You and I feel his panic here," told his access expires at dawn. Raquel's eyes shoot wide in pure shock. There is zero chance he can search properly. Yanking Damien along, he rushes inside. But a guard shouts that the area ahead requires strict high-level clearance only. Raquel stops completely and awkwardly apologizes. He just wandered the wrong way, totally accidentally. Inwardly, he curses that they caught him. He remembers the Emperor's rule: low-level zone only, and strictly just one single item. Raquel feels super irritated. He jumped through every single ridiculous hoop. And this is it? He silently grumbles about the Emperor being ridiculously stingy. This barely counts as a reward. He privately swears to never, ever visit the Emperor again unless totally forced. Gripping his badge, Raquel finally steps right into the low-level section of the vault. The inside is way bigger than expected. Raquel is completely stunned. He could spend all night here and still miss things. He orders Damien to split up so they can search from completely opposite ends. Damien asks what they need. Raquel is very clear. Anything with pure ice or cold properties. Frost items, magic stones, reagents. Anything fitting goes on the list. He tells Damien to mark locations so they can review it all together later. Dividing the massive zone in half, they take one side each and sprint through their areas. While searching, Raquel constantly remembers this is only the low-level tier. He clears his entire half, but comes up totally empty. Absolutely nothing useful stands out. He quietly worries Damien's side is just as barren before they finally regroup. Raquel asks for results, and Damien gives a slow nod. Checking the list, Raquel goes completely dead silent. So what do you and I make of this? Inside one massive vault, they only find the myriad year snow a week. Low-tier shield of low origin. Inject mana to cast a frost shield. It shatters upon taking a massive hit. Stick with me here. Raquel stares at this weird pager thing, just hoping it actually works out. He pushes his mana into it. Boom! The glowing frost shield expands perfectly. It is huge, but totally weightless. The freezing aura radiating off this thing tells Raquel absolutely everything he needs to know right now. This is perfect for Lady Delaire. He quickly waves Damien over, needing his backup again. Soon after, a guard spots Damien leaving. He stops him, asking what item he took. The guard eyes the sword on his hip. Suddenly, Raquel struts out, loudly demanding to know what Damien is doing. He coldly tells Damien he feels incredibly disappointed. Raquel complains loudly while covered in stolen jewels himself. The guard just sighs, ordering the prince to put back everything he took too. Late at night, Garden wakes up. Glancing out the window, he spots those two chatting far off in the distance. Garden smiles warmly. Those two have been getting along so well lately. He once thought Damien was too rigid, but his opinion has totally changed. Damien is always silently protecting Raquel. After all, the prince spent his entire childhood sick and totally bedridden. True loyalty is incredibly rare. Garden decides he can finally trust Damien a lot more. Now watch closely. Damien suddenly draws his blade and swings straight at Raquel. Garden absolutely loses his mind. He loudly screams someone is committing high treason. Just minutes earlier, Raquel told Damien to listen extremely closely to what he was saying. Damien prepared himself. To save a life, he would do anything. Then Raquel ordered him to swing his sword directly at him. Damien goes completely blank. Has the prince actually lost it? He panics. Is the prince trying to frame him? Raquel quickly clarifies he only needs to strike the magic shield. This creates the exact ingredient Lady Dallaire needs. If this works, the clinic survives and everyone can finally live in total peace. The crazy plan? Break the shield, collect the falling frost crystals, and use them as medicine. Damien asks the obvious. Why not just place it down and smash it? Raquel shakes his head. Without his flowing mana, the entire shield vanishes instantly. He has to keep pumping mana. Damien finally gets it. He must perfectly control his strike to smash the barrier without touching Raquel. Raquel nods happily. Exactly. That is the entire trick right there. Damien feels totally awkward. Attacking the crown prince is literally seen as high treason. You and I both know he wants hazard pay per swing. Raquel cannot believe this guy's nerve. Damien stays totally calm. He respects the prince, but a guy still needs his money. Raquel suddenly gets it. All of Damien's past struggles trace back to money. He remembers the plot. Damien was always an absolute penny pincher. Knowing this fact, Raquel agrees on the spot. 1 hit equals 1 day of wages. Raquel activates the shield while Damien demands his cash. He swings hard. Outside the window, Garden watches it happen and just completely faints. In his panicked mind, Damien just assassinated the royal prince. Bam! The shield holds perfectly firm, but the massive shockwave sends painful vibrations through Raquel's hands. Damien raises his sword again. Clearly, that was not enough. Raquel braces himself, telling him to just hurry up. Damien swings again and again. More than a dozen heavy strikes land perfectly. The barrier still holds, but Raquel's poor hands are completely numb and throbbing. Raquel yells that he is holding back just to milk more money. So, Damien stops playing. He channels absolute power into the next swing, slamming the shield with full force. The barrier shatters. Glowing frost crystals scatter everywhere, sparkling through the air in a breathtaking display. Raquel shouts in total victory. He pictures his wealthy royal future. He turns to call Damien over, only to spot poor Garden completely unconscious on the ground outside. Raquel immediately gets to work brewing the special medicine. He starts with kudzu root, ephedra, red dates, peony, licorice, fresh ginger, and cinnamon twig. Then he adds the frost crystals, entering completely uncharted territory with this formula. So what do you and I make of this? New skill unlocked. The inner organs pitch in, and his liver really requests a full ingredient analysis. Raquel confirms it, so stick with me. The system data reveals a dark brown liquid, fixing fevers and fluids perfectly. Raquel is absolutely thrilled here. With this skill unlocked, no more testing stuff on himself. His confidence absolutely skyrockets now. He knows Lady Dallaire will recover after drinking this. Raquel personally brings the medicine into her room right away, asking the family for a quick update on her condition. Her eldest son answers helplessly. She has zero energy left and looks way weaker than before. Raquel grips the bowl tight, silently praying. This medicine absolutely has to work. He spoon feeds her himself, warning that it tastes super bitter but cures everything. For the next few days, Raquel personally handles her care schedule, watching her condition like a total hawk. He brews that medicine perfectly on schedule, daily, watching every single step without any slacking off. 10 days pass, and those attendants change completely. They watch Raquel with major respect and pure gratitude. Nobody can believe their own eyes. A whole crown prince mixing medicine and hand-feeding sick patients. Garden feels super moved too, claiming he believed in Raquel from day one. Meanwhile, Raquel is running on absolute fumes. He silently cheers himself on just to survive. Totally exhausted, he still grinds through every bit of it. That final reward is simply way too good to quit. Suddenly, the system chimes. His special decoction totally cured the terrible typhus. Task complete. A praise bonus gets added to his treatment reward. Now, his Tier 2 treatment fee collection jumps to 1.5 times. Raquel lights up. You see what we just learned? Genuine admiration actually doubles his awesome lifespan. Reward. He smiles quietly. He just needs to keep letting everyone believe in this wonderful, perfect version of himself. Riding the carriage to send Lady Dallaire back, Raquel realizes that running this clinic solo is just way too draining. He knows exactly what he needs right now. Real trained nursing staff, super fast. Arriving home, the totally recovered Lady Dallaire thanks Raquel endlessly for saving her life. Raquel gives a perfectly warm, polite smile. Deep down, he is quietly celebrating everything this treatment earned him. Smiling, he claims that seeing her recover is definitely reward enough. Everyone nearby is super touched, and their pure admiration for Raquel skyrockets even higher. Lady Dallaire is just saying her goodbyes when Raquel suddenly calls out for her eldest son. He needs a little chat. Dallaire's son looks totally confused. Why is the crown prince pulling him aside now? Once they both sit in the carriage, Raquel immediately lets out a massive, dramatic sigh. Looking incredibly pitiful, he complains his whole body is aching, and he has not slept a proper wink in days. The son immediately speaks up, really wanting to offer Raquel a special token of gratitude for absolutely everything. Raquel seriously replies that medical fees are totally free. Charging anyone would ruin his clinic's reputation. Seeing the son still insisting on repaying the crown prince's own way, Raquel instantly lights up with an idea. Since the guy paints, a wild idea sparks. You and I know exactly what is coming. Raquel invites the son to collaborate on a huge project. A few days later, the son's official art exhibition finally opens, right inside the territory. Word spreads super fast. Crowds pour in everywhere, gathering around to admire all these displayed paintings. Raquel steps up, happily congratulating the son on his big debut as a real professional painter. But Raquel suddenly notices the guy looks completely miserable. The son opens his mouth, then nervously stops himself. Turns out, Raquel specially requested every single painting here. They all feature super edited, heavenly portraits of Raquel, idealized so much it looks absolutely nothing like the real guy. This feels like total false advertising. Raquel carelessly waves it away, joking that is just how basic editing works anyway. He is totally confident these epic paintings will grab absolutely everyone's attention. In reality, the crowd just stares in pure confusion. They literally only showed up because admission was completely free. Then, everyone spots a massive sign nearby. It proudly announces the Angel in White Challenge. The sign claims nursing brings deep fulfillment. Plus, the Crown Prince guarantees fantastic pay. Within seconds, the registration booth gets totally swamped by an eager crowd. Watching from the sidelines, Raquel silently bursts with pure pride. Damien dramatically sighs, asking if Raquel is truly that pleased with himself. Without hesitating, Raquel answers, he definitely is. In his mind, getting talented staff means expanding treatments and earning way more lifespan. He loudly claims he is just happy seeing patients heal. Damien quietly admits the Crown Prince's sneaky vision is absolutely remarkable, and that offered salary is seriously out of this world. 6 days later, the venue is completely packed. Trust me, we gotta watch this. Alright, you and I are jumping right into the craziest nursing selection exam ever announced. It is the Angel in White Challenge. Task 1. A totally massive surprise sprint straight to the interview hall. They split everyone up into 5 massive squads of 50 competitors each. Everyone blasts off from the starting line, racing against time toward the palace annex. Spots are super tight. Only the absolute top 10 fastest runners from each squad make the cut. Anyone slower gets completely eliminated instantly. Boom! The starting gun blasts for Group 1. Competitors explode forward like their lives are on the line. Round 1 finishes, and 10 exhausted survivors finally secure their spots. Garden welcomes the winners. He thanks them for arriving, then drops a bomb. The second stage starts right now. 0 breaks. The next test. 6 different herbal medicines sit right on the table. They have to spot the exact one that went completely bad. Now watch this closely. Mid-exam, someone suddenly drops hard to the floor. The rest completely freeze up. Everyone is way too stressed about their own grades. A couple people totally hesitate, clearly wanting to step in. But nope, they just stare back down at their exams. Raquel catches every single brutal second of this. His face goes completely cold, absolutely furious. He signals Garden to cut the timer and completely cancels the test. Garden steps up, stating they have seen enough and results will come out later. One by one, the oblivious competitors shuffle out. And the craziest part, nobody even glances back at the guy on the floor. After the room completely empties, Raquel glances down at the fallen guy and tells him to get up. Instantly, the dude hops right back up. It is Damien. He was undercover the whole time. Breathing a massive sigh of relief, he is just glad his wild acting worked. But Raquel instantly roasts him. That fall was way too extra. He almost ruined the entire secret operation. Then, Raquel actually shows him the perfect way to collapse. Grab your hand, act like your head is split, clutch your stomach, hit the deck, and fake coughing blood. That is how you sell the drama. Damien just nods, asking what happens to the 9 speedy guys from round 1. Raquel does not hesitate. They are all completely out. Skills are teachable, but character is not. Fail the humanity. Check. Game over. Damien finally gets it. Kindness beats pure talent. Raquel agrees, because real medics need a solid heart before anything else. The trials continue. Group 2 gets 0 passes. Group 3, still 0. Group 4 finishes with 0. Raquel is completely shocked. Can you? And I believe absolutely nobody stepped up to help? Totally deflated, he heads outside with Damien for fresh air. He sighs, thinking this entire nurse hunt might just be a massively hopeless mission after all. Suddenly, a super aggressive shouting match blows up, grabbing his full attention. A guard yells out, claiming the person right in front of him is not even human. The young girl fiercely snaps back that she is a proud imperial citizen. Raquel gets absolutely heated. They are begging for medics, and this guard is still out here acting so prejudiced. Damien whispers that the fierce girl is actually a werewolf. Raquel blinks. There is absolutely no tail visible. Damien explains she wears baggy pants, which completely hides her fluffy tail. Raquel completely freezes up, and his genius brain starts spinning. Werewolves boast wild shifting powers, crazy brute strength, and super sharp senses. This awesome girl was literally born for this exact medical job. The girl stands super proud, shutting him down. She is backed by imperial law and has total rights to take this exam. The guard totally sneers, mocking that her kind always go rabid and become crazy monsters. The girl just fiercely grits her teeth. She yells that is just pure, blind hate. Pouring out her heart, she vows she would never let her beast side loose. The arrogant guard keeps pushing, laughing that she is giving him total monster eyes right in this second. Raquel is absolutely done. He marches right up and yells enough. He declares the official rules let any capital citizen apply for the gig. And guess what? Werewolves are 100% legal residents. She has full rights to take this official exam just like anyone else. The guard goes completely pale, bowing his head and instantly begging Raquel for forgiveness. Raquel just stares cold and says the apology belongs to the girl. Raquel then genuinely apologizes for his guard's disrespect. The fierce werewolf bows gracefully, finally introducing her badass self as Annis. Without even blinking, Raquel kicks off her official trial right on the spot. He lays it out super straight. Werewolves supposedly pack insane limitless energy, but he needs literal proof right now. If she can easily outrun this exact guard in a foot race, she completely clears round 1. A 400-meter sprint to the fountain and back. Whoever returns first wins. Annis locks eyes with him, without blinking once. She instantly agrees. Trust me, you and I are about to watch one epic race as the guard drops his heavy armor. You and I are about to watch an insane race. Raquel yells, go. The signal fires, and Annis shoots forward like an arrow, leaving a bow. She leaves the soldier far behind instantly. She moves so incredibly fast that even Raquel is left staring in pure, absolute disbelief. In almost no time, Ennis reaches the fountain. She grabs the pillar with a firm grip, swings neatly around it, and lands perfectly on her feet. Then boom, she is off again, sprinting right back at full speed. Meanwhile, the soldier hasn't even reached the fountain yet. The massive gap is absolutely absurd. They fly past each other, going opposite ways. Ennis knows this absolute win is hers. The soldier realizes how far behind he is, and his entire composure completely shatters. Total panic sets in, and in pure desperation, his footwork completely breaks. His ankle twists sharply. He crashes hard to the dirt, writhing in agony. Ennis hears the loud noise. She turns and sees the soldier down on the ground. His shoulder looks totally dislocated. Even though she hates losing her easy win, Ennis immediately turns and rushes toward him. She wanted to crush him with pure skill. Now watch closely, because everything changes right here. She reaches him fast, grabs his shoulder firmly with both hands, and twists it hard. The soldier screams in pure agony, his loud cry echoing across the empty grounds. Raquel rushes right over and shouts, "That is exactly what I was seeking." He pulls out a wooden necklace and eagerly invites Ennis to join his squad. Raquel leads her right into the reception room to review all the details of their arrangement. He hands over an official employment contract and asks her to read every single term carefully. Ennis flips right through it, clearly admitting the contents are a bit complicated. Raquel reassures her immediate, "No need to rush, take your time." He watches her quietly, feeling genuinely, truly impressed. Her athletic instincts are completely off the charts, and her character absolutely impeccable. But he also cannot help noticing she helped that soldier, sure, but her wild method nearly destroyed him with extreme pain. There will definitely be very difficult patients at the clinic someday. This is going to be so incredibly fun and entertaining. He finds himself really wishing for way more people exactly like Ennis. She is practically perfect. Raquel leans in closer, eagerly asking what she thinks of the contract terms. Ennis smiles. The contract looks good, but she definitely has a few additional conditions to add. Raquel is totally caught off guard, and immediately asks what those specific conditions are. "I know what you are thinking. 50 entire people?" Ennis admits she leads a whole tribe. Raquel's jaw drops. Her amazing talent actually comes with 50 more behind her. He turns up the charm instantly. Why hide this earlier? He is absolutely, completely elated. 50s rank nurses on a team? This is an absolute godsend. Ennis finally states her first condition. She wants her tribe members allowed to take the nursing exam too. Plus, she really hopes Raquel can help resolve a major problem her people have had since birth. Raquel just blinks. A problem since birth? Wait, are you talking food shortages? Ennis explains that because of this exact problem, her people have spent their lives enduring all kinds of unfair discrimination and harsh treatment. The problem they are born with, their actual tails. She explains that these tails literally move on their own, completely out of their control. Raquel tilts his head. But isn't that kind of fascinating? Ennis explains completely seriously. The tail betrays every single emotion. Happy, and it wags. Sad, and it droops. It clicks for Raquel. So, that is exactly why she wears those loose trousers. She hid her tail this whole time. He asks, what about tying it down to the leg? Would that hide all the emotions? Ennis simply shakes her head helplessly. The tail breaks free on its own. Raquel casually suggests, why not just cut it completely off, then? Ennis tells him her people definitely tried. Cutting it off leaves them unable to walk properly at all. Plus, it just grows right back within a month. Raquel bursts out laughing. It is just like lizard tail regeneration. He finds it absolutely fascinating. Then he goes totally quiet. His heart sinks. Wait, is he really actually being asked to treat a tail? He panics internally. If he cannot fix the tail problem, he loses all those S-rank nurses. The pressure is immense. In his entire life, he has never once treated a tail. He literally has absolutely no idea where to start. So, Raquel proposes an alternative. He will become the official social guardian of their tribe. With his rank and authority, he will be the strongest backing they could ever have. Anis politely declines. She cannot accept that. If something terrible happened to His Highness, or if he changed his mind, everything would completely fall apart. Anis makes herself crystal clear. She did not come to His Highness looking for some temporary fix. Raquel understands. She wants the problem fully solved at the root. He agrees without hesitation. He will go find a real solution. Anis looks genuinely surprised. Do you really think there is a way? Raquel is totally honest. He is not sure yet, but he will start looking this exact moment. Anis nods, leaving to wait. Trust me, you and I definitely want to see what happens next. Alright, stick with me here. Everyone clears the room, leaving Raquel pacing and screaming that he absolutely cannot let this epic talent escape. 50 elite nurses. This is the ultimate dream he has chased forever. But one massive question still brings him intense agony. How do you actually treat a muscle with a mind of its own? Soon after, Raquel is tearing through the giant library, frantically hunting for any answer. He looks totally exhausted, but still finds absolutely nothing. Suddenly, Garden pops up, calling him Highness. Raquel nearly jumps out of his own skin. Garden puts on a totally serious face. He warns that frowning lets stress build up inside, leading to all sorts of nasty illnesses for His Highness. Raquel just stares speechlessly. He is the one who almost got scared out of his mind. But Garden keeps going, never missing a beat. Constant frowning creates wrinkles, and once those annoying lines appear, they are incredibly tough to erase. He is just making sure His Highness remembers. Raquel sees right through the act. Garden is obviously just trying to cheer him up, and honestly, he really appreciates it. Garden is genuinely so kind and thoughtful, yet Raquel just stubbornly brushes it off. So what if he gets some wrinkles? Hyaluronic acid or botulinum toxin easily solves the problem, he quietly mutters. Now watch closely. A wild flash of inspiration hits him. Botulinum toxin is exactly what he has been looking for. That specific toxin is the absolute strongest paralytic agent known. Since the werewolf tail is basically uncontrolled muscle, a localized freezing effect is the perfect fix. And as pure luck would have it, he possesses the exact toxin resources needed to make this plan work. Raquel instantly gives Garden his strict orders. Grab Kuzman's high-potency toxin capsules from secure storage, then bring me straight to Anna's. Raquel later finds Anna's, announcing with barely contained hype that he finally solved her tail problem. They step inside the room, and Raquel gets super serious. Two key details must be confirmed first. First, he absolutely needs to find the exact treatment points. Raquel starts his super careful examination, checking her physical condition top to bottom. He notices her meridian flow is slightly different from humans. Besides the exact position of the governor vessel, everything else is basically similar with zero major differences. However, one unique meridian humans lack runs directly down toward her fluffy tail. All things considered, a werewolf body structure is surprisingly close to a normal human. Raquel politely asks Anna's to transform so he can totally confirm the specific meridian positions. Anna's nods and instantly transforms, taking on a truly powerful, imposing werewolf form. Raquel looks her over, muttering, she is much smaller than imagined. She honestly reminds him of Cheeky, his favorite little pet dog from years ago. He instinctively reaches out, happily asking for a handshake. Anna's reflexively extends her fluffy hand. Then it hits her. He is treating her like a dog. She completely flips out. Raquel flashes an apologetic smile, claiming he was just joking around. So please do not take it personally. But then, he totally pushes his luck, telling her to roll over. And she actually does it. Raquel bursts out laughing. He never actually expected that to work. Moving quickly along, he announces it is time for the real examination. Later inside the study, Raquel thinks deeply. The tricky question of where to treat is finally resolved. The massive second challenge is determining the exact dosage of this paralytic toxin. He briefly considers asking Kuzman, but he does not trust that shady man even a little bit. I know what you are thinking. Why not just take the poison himself to test it? His sentient organs instantly erupt into absolute chaos, screaming that he has completely lost his mind. Liver speaks up first. If Raquel actually ingests this wild toxin, poor Liver is stuck doing the detox work. It is better to just grab a fantasy beast and test it on them. Raquel refuses immediately. How could anybody feed poison to something so tiny and adorable? That is just completely out of the question. The organs aggressively fire back at once. So using his very own body as a test subject is somehow perfectly fine? Liver suddenly points out a specific fantasy beast whose epic skill is component analysis. It completely breaks down anything, whether a deadly toxin or herbal medicine. Raquel is absolutely floored. He simply cannot believe there is a fantasy beast with an ability that insane. Liver casually mentions finding this information inside the system standby chamber. Raquel looks completely puzzled. System standby chamber? What in the world is that? Liver plainly answers. It is exactly what it sounds like. A quiet place to wait on standby. Before Raquel ever truly awakened, all his organs were resting there, completely fast asleep. That includes the heart, lungs, and large intestine. All of them occupied that space. Raquel eagerly presses on. What about the organs that have not woken up yet? Same exact situation? Liver confirms yes. And all the fantasy beasts waiting to be summoned are there too. Then Liver quickly cuts itself off, telling him not to ask anymore. What they can say and do is strictly limited. So what do we think? Raquel backs off, asking what this analyzing beast actually looks like. Come along with me. Liver flat out refuses. The other organs? They absolutely love watching Raquel do his custom gacha pulls. They demand a show. Raquel furiously grits his teeth. These tiny monsters are completely insufferable. He angrily shouts back, "Fine, stay silent." He will somehow drag the real truth out of them, no matter what. So, he purposely holds his breath, totally cutting off his own oxygen to force them. Total panic. The internal organs scream that oxygen is dropping fast. This will cause some seriously heavy damage. Lungs completely freak out, basically having a meltdown. Liver and large intestine are absolutely furious, loudly cursing his incredibly reckless stunt. Heart and lungs are fading fast. The organs finally surrender, frantically describing the ultimate component, analyzing fantasy beast to save themselves. And just like that, Raquel finally summons the exact fantasy beast he needed. Raquel gasps in awe. A flame, mola fish? It gently sways back and forth, offering a super cheerful, "Nice to meet you." The two tiny fantasy beasts happily float toward each other, totally vibing and interacting in such an incredibly friendly way. An overjoyed Raquel pulls out the medicine, letting the little flame mola fish taste it. Once it swallows the substance, the fish triggers its special skill. It briefly enters suspended animation, then super quickly bounces right back. Waking up, it generates a full record of ingredients, perfectly listing every single dangerous dosage limit. It impressively writes down every single property of the substance with absolutely mind-blowing pinpoint accuracy. Watch closely now. This analytical ability is utterly broken. Raquel joyfully grabs the record. He can finally calculate the dosage to paralyze Annie's tail. Bright and early the very next morning, he summons Garden. Stepping inside, Garden spots the new fantasy beast and completely freezes. Raquel proudly brags that this little guy just casually showed up last night. It honestly seems like fantasy beasts are naturally drawn to him. Garden politely smiles, but internally, he is totally mind-blown by how often these beasts appear. Garden remembers a historical legend, Louis de Frontera, who amazingly owned 5 fantasy beasts. Raquel curiously asks, was that guy truly that legendary? Garden slowly nods. Louis de Frontera was the ultimate cornerstone figure who completely built this entire empire's foundations. Truly extraordinary stuff. But Raquel hates small talk. He eagerly orders Garden to bring Annie's over immediately. Soon after, Garden escorts Annie's inside. She looks completely filled with major doubts and nerves. Sure, he is the crown prince, but fixing her tail today? Garden notices her heavy anxiety, softly whispering some kind words of reassurance. Ennis looks totally startled. Garden claims he read her expression. Ennis instantly calls him out. He obviously guessed it from her moving tail. Totally exposed, Garden looks incredibly awkward now. He quickly apologizes for staring. Ennis totally takes it in stride, saying she is completely used to those weird looks anyway. She shrugs, then suddenly realizes they have not even formally introduced themselves yet. Reaching out, he kindly introduces himself as Piero Garden, the Crown Prince's very own personal physician. She shakes his hand, introducing herself as Annie's, Rober's heir. Garden then carefully asks if he can share one super important tip. Nodding, she tells him to speak. Garden earnestly warns her, "Whatever Raquel does during this treatment, do not freak out at all. I know what you are thinking." Ennis feels even worse now. What crazy treatment awaits her? Inside, Raquel rocks his white coat, patiently waiting with this totally intense aura of pure professionalism. He warmly waves her inside, calling her his special patient, and gesturing to a cozy chair. Ennis sits down, barely believing he actually found a perfect solution overnight. Raquel confidently promises nothing will go wrong here. Still super uneasy, Ennis nervously asks him to explain the actual treatment method first. Smiling wildly, Raquel brandishes shiny silver needles. He will repeatedly stick them around her tail, then finish by injecting a very special substance. That is it. The explanation just hypes him up. He asks Ennis, "Isn't that cool?" The nearby attendants instantly burst into loud applause, totally praising his massive genius. Ennis is completely lost, helplessly looking at Garden. Garden shoots her a pleading look that basically says, "Please just trust His Highness." Everyone vigorously nods, silently urging her to believe. Meanwhile, Raquel stares right back at her with pure sincerity, his eyes practically sparkling with absolute confidence. Poor Ennis is quietly having a total meltdown. The Crown Prince and everyone else here has completely lost their minds. Seeing her nervous hesitation, Raquel tells her to stop second-guessing everything. Just give him one chance. Ennis hesitates. It looks super sketchy, but she finally agrees. So what do you and I make of this? If he succeeds, her people's tragic suffering finally ends today. Let's dive right in. If there is any danger, she is taking it. Ennis takes a deep breath and tells Raquel she's absolutely ready. Raquel lights up. He snaps his fingers, signaling attendants to start the preparations. The attendants rush in carrying white cloth panels, screening Ennis off so she can change in total privacy. Once she's changed, Ennis lies down on the bed, bravely exposing her tail for the procedure. Raquel finishes prepping and declares with firm resolve that the treatment officially begins now. He activates the Asrahan heart method, carefully observing the complex structure of Ennis's body. Raquel quietly marvels that the Asrahan heart method lives up to its hype. He can actually see the acupuncture points. He thinks to himself he can finally see with his very own eyes what he only heard about in legends. Watch closely now. He picks up the needle, preparing to begin this completely one-of-a-kind procedure. Raquel precisely locates the Zhuanshu point, gauges a 5 fen depth, and drives the needle in without hesitation. He immediately releases 0.01 milliliters of muscle-paralyzing botulinum toxin. Next up, he locates the Mingmen point, inserting the needle exactly 7 fen deep. Next target is the Yanyangguan point. Raquel strikes and without a single moment's pause. At 8 fen deep, the toxin takes effect, completely clearing the mana that tried bypassing the Guanshu point. Everything flows perfectly smoothly. Mana channels cleanly down the erector spinae on both sides of her spine. The tail begins losing strength, but the treatment has only just begun. His goal isn't just temporarily paralyzing the tail. He needs this paralysis to last permanently for her. Suddenly, Honest's tail starts moving again. Her natural recovery speed is just completely extraordinary. Raquel doesn't even flinch. He anticipated exactly this. He picks up speed, driving needles in rapidly. He cannot give her tail any chance to recover. He hits the Yao Shu point with precision, and the only target remaining is the Kang point. Honest is utterly confused and starting to panic. She came here for her tail, so why is a needle going right into the back of her head? The very next second, Honest's tail begins trembling. It slowly droops down and goes completely still, and in its place, Honest's little toe begins wiggling. Raquel shouts in pure triumph, "It worked. The entire treatment is complete." He speaks gently to Honest, telling her to relax. She can finally let go of all that tension now. Honest blinks in total disbelief. "That's it? It's already done?" She looks at her tail, now hanging limp. She notices her usual anxious tail curling simply isn't happening anymore. Raquel explains he tricked her body's nervous system to permanently paralyze the tail. He rerouted the tail's nerve signals directly to the little toe on her left foot. "You and I both know how huge this is. Now, her little toe moves instead of her tail. That's the magic." Honest can't hold it back anymore. Tears pour down her face. Every single injustice, prejudice, and moment of discrimination she's endured since childhood is finally, truly over. Honest thanks him through her tears, her voice thick with emotion. Raquel says there's no need for thanks. The treatment is done, which means it is time to sign the contract. He hands over the contract and reminds her, don't forget the special condition. She needs to bring all her tribe members here. Raquel produces a pen, signaling they can sign right now. Not long after, Raquel is grinning from ear to ear. He hasn't felt this incredibly good in a very long time. Garden can't help but ask, is His Highness really this happy? Raquel answers without missing a beat. Absolutely, yes. This is 50s rank nurses. He adds that these 50 werewolves have all completed professional nursing training. Whether it's patient care, emergency response, herbal medicine identification and storage, brewing medicinal decoctions, or managing moxa stones, they have mastered it all. They even know how to run an inpatient ward. Just then, a nurse walks over and respectfully presents a newly drafted duty roster. Raquel flips through it with a grin, nodding repeatedly and murmuring, "Excellent, excellent." Because the Palace NX Korean Clinic has finally achieved a fully automatic 24-hour operating model. And honestly, the werewolves seem perfectly adjusted to their little toes doing all the wiggling now. It's absolutely perfect. A system notification chimes. Raquel successfully completed the procedure for Anis and all 50 werewolves. The internal organs all rise to their feet, giving Raquel a roaring round of applause for his absolutely exceptional medical skill. The loud applause wakes up a new member. Stomach finally opens its eyes. The moment it wakes, it goes wild, screaming for fried pork chops, sweet and sour pork, and fried chicken. Then it demands pizza too. It's so hungry it is about to pass out, and won't stop hounding Raquel to feed it. Raquel stares helplessly at the panel. None of those foods exist here. So, stomach compromises. Fine. So where does this wild journey leave us? Raquel pops in a candy, muttering that his stomach has the exact taste of a demanding small child. Absolutely adorable. System notification. Stomach cheers for the sweet flavor and sponsors 300 HP. Stick with me here. His own organs are thrilled about the newest awakening, instantly sponsoring him. 700 HP. Raquel is super hyped seeing that the organ's advisory range has massively expanded. His Astrahan heart method levels up, pushing his overall strength into a major, epic upgrade. The Mannering storage also gets bigger, letting him hold tons of toxins and herbs. The clinic's core system is officially ready for action. Everything is set, but suddenly, Chief Attendant Pavel bursts right into the room, screaming in total panic, "Your Highness, something absolutely awful has just happened." Raquel looks totally confused. "Pavel, what in the world brings you here now? Are you feeling sick?" Pavel bows down extremely fast, looking frantic with some super urgent news. Raquel's heart basically drops. He urgently demands answers. Pavel barely chokes it out, saying the Palace NX budget is completely gone. Raquel lets out a massive cry of pure disbelief. He cannot process this. Now watch this. A broke crown prince? He completely panics, because without cash, his clinic stops. Raquel practically screams for an explanation. Why is there zero money? He needs the truth. Pavel helplessly explains that last autumn, His Highness personally slashed the entire budget. Raquel completely melts down on the inside. He brutally curses his past self for being so dense. Pavel quietly mentions that everyone literally believed His Highness was entirely beyond saving, so the heavy cuts were made. Raquel wants to weep out loud, but just feels hollow. He seriously brought this disaster upon himself. Pavel quickly tries comforting him, saying his newfound health is absolutely something to be extremely happy about. Raquel just looks completely crushed. He cannot feel glad about anything right now. Having zero funds means everything stops. He wildly flails around, screaming. Why did money have to completely fail him at the absolute worst time? Deep down inside, Raquel is practically screaming at his former self. Did you really have to ruin everything for me? He lets out a massive sigh. He understands why past him did it, but complaining right now fixes literally nothing. Holding onto a tiny spark of hope, Raquel asks if there is any possible way to increase this year's budget. Pavel answers fast and perfectly clear, absolutely not. Raquel whispers in pure despair, if there is zero money, his clinic falls, taking him down too. Pavel regretfully explains the rules. By imperial law, budgets can only be requested once annually, and the single person in this entire empire not tied by that strict rule is His Majesty the Emperor himself. Raquel makes his decision instantly. Time to heavily exploit the major perks of having an actual emperor for a dad. But very quickly, that grand plan totally crashes and burns. Sitting back in the annex, Raquel miserably realizes that without some huge funding, his clinic is entirely doomed. I know what you're thinking. He cannot let money defeat him. Only one wild option remains. He shouts for Pavel, immediately asking if they have a fully completed inventory of their royal assets. Pavel instantly nods, saying every single item is logged. Raquel excitedly claps his hands, demanding Pavel to bring every last piece of that inventory directly to his desk. He is absolutely selling off every single valuable item hiding inside the annex. The priceless paintings, rare sculptures, gold and silver plates, everything is getting sold off. Pavel watches in sheer agony. All the stunning treasures he dedicated his life managing are hitting the auction block. He begs desperately, praying His Highness reconsiders before wiping out every historical treasure. But Raquel stands incredibly firm. His mind is totally set, leaving Pavel absolutely frantic and raging. Bursting into tears, he literally screams that he hates the prince, running away completely heartbroken. A couple days pass. Raquel summons both Pavel and Damien inside to reveal his mastermind plan. Raquel speaks super seriously, saying selling their luxury gear was only a fast band-aid to stop the bleeding. Damien curiously asks if he has the next big step figured out. Raquel lays the harsh truth down. This is their absolute critical window for long-term survival. Without securing a solid foothold right now, once the money vanishes, they are totally finished. Pavel starts crying, reminding him the annex has literally zero items left to auction off. Suddenly, Raquel bursts out laughing. He already has a brand new scheme ready. He proudly declares that from this very second, he will personally brew and sell unique medicines. Starting today, he officially becomes the crown prince of the medicine trade. His eyes flash with heavy resolve. Keeping this beloved clinic alive means he must rake in absolute fortunes. And the only way he survives is by doing exactly this. Pavel is shell-shocked. He genuinely cannot believe the prince is going to brew and peddle medicines himself. He nervously suggests that if money is getting tight, they could easily charge patients some fair treatment fees. Raquel shuts that down instantly. Charging fees means losing precious patients, and he refuses to allow that. Raquel feels entirely confident. The real plan is making pure fortunes by selling ultra-premium grade medicines. Trust me on this. These unbelievably expensive medicines are going to have some absolutely insane healing effects. These will be packaged flawlessly, totally satisfying any collector's urge to show off guaranteed smash hits. Raquel excitedly explains his grand vision. Stick with me here. This brand is personally launched by the Crown Prince himself. Any rich, elite family will see owning it as ultimate prestige. This is the ultimate luxury emergency medicine crafted exclusively for the high nobility. Damien looks completely skeptical and asks, "Does a medicine like this actually exist?" Raquel pats his chest, overflowing with absolute confidence. Of course, it does. Plus, the ingredients are unbelievably rare and potent. The main ingredient? A Minotaur gallstone. And this masterpiece will be known as the Minotaur Bezoar Heart Clearing Pill. He explains it is a famous emergency remedy. This pill fixes cardiovascular issues, cerebrovascular conditions, and high blood pressure, acting as an incredibly powerful mental stabilizer. Later on, Raquel and Damien take a stroll. Damien presses him hard. Is he seriously selling medicine made from literal Minotaur gallstones? Will anyone actually be willing to take that? Raquel stays totally unfazed. The rarer an item is, the more desperately people scramble to grab it. He emphasizes that compared to regular cattle, Bezoar, a Minotaur gallstone is way stronger and incredibly rare. Both its healing value and elite status symbol factor are totally maxed out. The value of this product will be absolutely insane. Damien remains unconvinced. He says bluntly that he still believes it will flop. This is the very first time he has ever heard of this specific pill. If it really works wonders, why does nobody in the whole empire know about it? Raquel casually waves it off. Watch closely here. He claims it is a famous remedy from a fallen ancient kingdom. Damien grows extremely puzzled, immediately asking which kingdom exactly. Raquel just brushes past the question. It simply came to me in a dream. He casually adds that all his knowledge of acupuncture and herbal formulas came straight to him. Through dreams, too. Hearing this, Damien thinks, Piero Garden mentioned something similar before, but something about this entire story still feels completely off. He quietly mulls it over. Garden follows him blindly, which explains why he swallows whatever His Highness says without questioning. Damien silently makes peace with the madness. As long as his monthly paycheck arrives right on time, none of this weirdness matters. Then he brings up a hugely pressing issue. His Highness is completely unlicensed. How can he practice medicine so openly? Raquel looks genuinely baffled, asking, "Do you actually need a special license to treat patients?" When told yes, the prince is completely and utterly floored. So, you actually have to pass an exam and secure a medical license to practice? He had absolutely zero clue about this rule. He laughs awkwardly and immediately pivots the conversation. The absolute top priority right now is securing a real Minotaur gallstone. Damien asks if he should send someone to the capital herb merchants to source these really specific materials. Raquel says those herb merchants will never carry gallstones. Bezoar is not used in local medicine anyway. Then he drops a huge bombshell. He is going to personally buy a live Minotaur. Raquel confidently announces their brand new destination, Kramer City in the Empire Northeast. It is home to the Empire's biggest monster auction house, serving as a massive logistics hub. He needs to inspect the Minotaur and its gallstone with his own two eyes. You and I both know this Crown Prince operates on a totally different level of crazy. Before long, Raquel gets the royal carriage ready to go. His speed is honestly alarming. Onus is ready too. Raquel waves everyone over, loudly urging the team to hurry up. It is time to leave. Damien is completely stunned at how fast this is happening. There was literally zero time to prepare anything. Raquel's expression suddenly shifts, like he sensed something approaching. He immediately rushes Damien into the carriage. He feels someone is about to come after them. The carriage instantly takes off at maximum speed straight toward Kramer City. Piero Garden comes running after them in literal tears, crying out, "How could His Highness depart without taking his personal physician?" Raquel casually leans out, telling Garden to guard the Palace NX clinic, promising to bring back a nice souvenir for him. With that settled, their carriage officially departs the busy capital, heading toward Kramer. Damien honestly cannot help but marvel at it. He never expected this carriage ride to feel so incredibly comfortable. Raquel raises an eyebrow with deep satisfaction. He is royalty, after all. Obviously, his personal ride is going to be luxurious. He settles in completely, declaring, "This is what first-class travel on wheels truly feels like." The carriage rolls onward. On the 8th day after leaving the capital, Magenta, they finally arrive at their destination. Kramer City is a coastal town, its streets bustling with people and alive with vibrant energy. Raquel's eyes light up, pointing straight ahead. That is the legendary monster auction house. The carriage slowly rolls to a complete stop right in front of the massive entrance. A guard steps forward, ordering them to move immediately. No parking allowed. Povil instantly snaps at the guard. "We gotta see what happens next." "Alright, you and I are about to watch something hilarious." The arrogant guard scoffs. "What? Is the crown prince hiding in that carriage, or something?" Raquel instantly pulls the curtain back and cheerfully greets him. The guard takes one terrified look and completely loses his mind. He cannot even speak a single word. He scrambles away on all fours, sprinting frantically to tell Mayor Iger Kramer this massive, earth-shattering news. The frantic messenger shouts that His Highness the Crown Prince has arrived in person. The mayor is absolutely stunned. He cannot believe the Crown Prince would randomly appear in his city today. Snapping back to reality, the mayor rushes outside with pure eagerness, ready to show deep respect for someone that important. What exactly brought His Royal Highness to Kramer City? Raquel smiles casually, saying he was just passing through town and wanted to buy a few items. The mayor eagerly offers to set up a dedicated escort to ensure his safety, but Raquel declines. He says he already has plenty of guards alongside him. He claims it is a quick visit and tells the mayor to relax, but the poor guy is still panicking. With the Crown Prince visiting, he simply has to offer the best hospitality. Feeling worn down by the constant begging, Raquel reluctantly gives in and promises to visit his home. The ecstatic mayor promises to have everything fully prepared for his upcoming arrival. He turns to his staff, barking orders to start scrubbing the courtyard and spare absolutely no effort. Shortly after that chaos, the underground monster auction finally gets underway. The atmosphere inside the hall feels completely silent. Damien and Raquel sit in the exclusive room, finding this extreme level of quietness to be rather creepy. Raquel assumes it is just because they are auctioning dangerous monsters. Damien agrees, noting they likely fear loud noises might accidentally wake the beasts up. As the event slowly wraps up, Raquel stifles a massive yawn, wondering why the highly anticipated Minotaur has not shown up yet. Now pay attention here. A colossal Minotaur is slowly wheeled out, instantly grabbing everyone's terrified focus. Raquel is totally stunned. This absolute unit is huge enough to feed 100 people. Its sheer muscle build is ridiculous. He silently guesses that if this beast tried powerlifting, it could easily pull 30 tons of weight. The loud auctioneer proudly announces that the grand finale today is this incredibly rare, fully live Minotaur. He brags it took 7 elite hunting squads 3 entire months to trap it in the eastern mountains. Its absolute value is beyond measure. Raquel's eyes gleam with fiery intensity. Internally, he is screaming to secure this prize. He notices the beast is heavily sedated, yet it still unleashes a terrifying roar. Raquel honestly loves its spirit even more for that. The host reveals the opening price is 50,000 margin. Raquel freezes in shock, immediately asking Damien if he heard that insane number correctly. Normal monsters maxed out around 5,000. This guy starts at 10 times that. Damien calmly reminds him they brought 100,000 margin. That massive budget should easily win the auction. Raquel mutters to himself that while they technically have the cash, this ridiculous price will skyrocket instantly. He nervously scans the giant room full of bidders. Their eyes look incredibly hungry. Every single person seems desperate to win it. Raquel realizes 100,000 margin is nowhere near enough. He feels completely frustrated since that cash could purchase a nice apartment. He simply cannot fail. You and I know he desperately needs this ingredient. Time to cook up a crazy plan right on the spot. He aggressively grabs Damien's shoulder, ordering him to pay extremely close attention to his next words. Raquel leans closer, quietly whispering his sneaky tactic straight into Damien's ear. Damien stares back with a highly doubtful expression, questioning if His Highness truly wants this done. Raquel confidently smirks, confirming it without hesitation. Damien cannot bite his tongue anymore. He bluntly states those royal orders literally sound like a cheap street thug's dirty scheme. Raquel totally brushes it off. Who cares if it sounds villainous, as long as they actually win the prize today? Damien nervously sighs, surrendering to the mission. Meanwhile, the aggressive auction kicks off. One guy immediately screams a bid of 50,500 margin. Another wealthy buyer jumps in, quickly jacking the current price to 53,000 margin. It climbs. Someone else yells 55,000 margin. Raquel sweats nervously, wondering what is taking Damien so long. Finally, Damien casually strolls back, with the mayor following. Raquel plays completely dumb, acting super shocked to see the poor mayor at this event. The stressed mayor looks totally confused. Did His Highness not personally demand a guard unit? Then he spots that perfectly innocent smile on Raquel's face, and everything suddenly clicks. The sly mayor remembers his whole political career survived purely by reading the room. Well, he easily decodes the royal hint. His Highness secretly wants his true identity exposed publicly today. So what do we learn here? The mayor clears his throat, ready to score major points. The mayor immediately shouts in a booming voice, thanking His Highness the Crown Prince for accepting this grand hospitality. You and I are about to see absolute chaos. The stunned bidders cannot believe the prince is here. The mayor proudly announces he has personally arranged a massive escort of 100 elite guards for him. Raquel plays right along, acting as the crown prince, graciously accepting the mayor's grand gesture. Damien, who made this all happen, watches from the side with a look of pure shock. Raquel fakes a sudden realization, picks up his paddle, and acts like he totally forgot about the auction. He calmly raises his paddle high, and shouts out a bid of 60,000 margin. Every single eye locks onto him. These bidders know absolutely nobody dares to outbid the fierce crown prince. Raquel lifts his paddle with a daring glint in his eyes. He is the crown prince. Let us see anyone try to top that. The bidders are completely rattled. Nobody dares to bid higher than the royal prince. The entire room freezes. Inside, the poor auctioneer is falling apart. He cannot believe this epic treasure is going for 60,000. He screams internally. This prized minotaur, captured at an enormous cost, is basically being robbed in plain sight. His heart totally sinks. Is this really how this grand auction is going to end? In humiliating fashion? Now watch closely. A sudden voice shatters the silence, calling out 70,000 margin. The auctioneer is floored. He cannot believe someone actually dared to bid higher than the crown prince. The whole hall instantly erupts into utter chaos. Raquel is absolutely furious and totally stunned. He rages internally, wondering who on earth has the nerve to go against him. He looks closely and spots the guy. It is Quinas Deschamps, a wealthy southern merchant. Quinas just looks quietly smug. He is not an empire citizen, so he has absolutely nothing to fear from the intimidating crown prince. Someone in the crowd quickly whispers a warning. This particular prince has a notorious reputation for holding serious grudges. Raquel furiously grits his teeth. He heard everything, and this man is purposely provoking him. Quinas looks back at Raquel with a very challenging smirk. If His Highness wants it so badly, drop the royal title and let the money do the talking. Raquel is completely furious now. He internally roars to bring it on. That rare minotaur is his, no matter what. The auctioneer yells, His Highness bids 71,000. Margin. Quinas follows, without a single moment of hesitation, 72,000 margin. After an insane bidding frenzy, the prized minotaur finally sells for a staggering 250,000 margin. Quinas beams with pure satisfaction, triumphantly laughing inside. This round goes to him. Raquel stands completely frozen and utterly defeated. He watches the massive minotaur being led away and cries out, "Do not just take it like that." Damien steps over to comfort him, casually saying it is actually a good thing His Highness lost this specific bid. He logically breaks it down. Throwing 100,000 margin at one monster is just not worth it. Raquel looks at Damien, thinking, this guy is just annoyingly loyal and brutally honest. But seconds later, Damien follows up. If His Highness keeps throwing money around like this, there might be absolutely no paycheck left for him to collect. He plainly states, the one and only reason he stays by His Highness is for that very stable and incredibly generous salary. You and I felt that. The moment his pay stops, he leaves. Raquel is left completely speechless. He saved this man from the underground arena, and this is the gratitude he gets? Damien calmly replies that yes, he is grateful, but gratitude and a paycheck are two totally and completely different things. Raquel is taken aback and presses him. Can genuine gratitude and money really be kept entirely separate? Damien bluntly replies, of course they can. That goes without saying. Raquel thinks back to the original novel. Damien was the powerful, epic protagonist he had always rooted for. Thinking about his massive future potential, having the greatest swordsman in history by his side feels like the most reassuring thing in the whole world. All Raquel ever wanted is for Damien to stay, so everyone around him can live a very safe and wonderfully happy life. Only then can his people be truly protected. Raquel snaps back to reality, swearing to Damien that he will never, ever withhold anyone's hard-earned pay. He quickly turns toward the mayor, asking to be taken back to his fancy residence to rest. He immediately takes off running, because pulling that massive stunt and still losing is just way too embarrassing to handle. Back at his residence, Raquel collapses face first onto his bed, his entire body aching with exhaustion. He firmly vows that tomorrow he will get another minotaur, and he will definitely keep it under 100,000 margin. Suddenly, a royal guard frantically bursts in, shouting for His Highness to get up immediately. Something has gone terribly wrong. The guard screams to flee. Trust me, we aren't ready for this. Before he finishes speaking, the wall explodes inward with absolute brute force, and total chaos erupts. Damien instantly draws his sword and steps right in front of Raquel, commanding His Highness to get behind him. Let us jump into the madness. A massive hand suddenly sends Damien flying, and Raquel completely freezes. Of all the things, that massive minotaur just violently crashed right through the wall. Turns out, back when it was still Queeness's captive, this absolute beast broke right free from those heavy chains using pure strength. Queenies takes one look at this rampaging monster and stands completely paralyzed with pure terror. The minotaur lets out a fierce roar. Its eyes lock with burning fury onto Queenies, the guy it hates the most. Raising one enormous fist, it brings it crashing down for pure revenge. Queenies is terrified out of his mind, screaming that he is a wealthy merchant and the rightful owner. But it really does not take long before he abandons that claim completely and runs. The minotaur tears after him, completely relentless. Queeness's legs can barely hold him up as one single thought fills his mind: find a safe spot now. He runs blindly and desperately, sprinting straight toward the mayor's residence in Kramer City. Queenies suddenly points and shouts in another direction, desperately trying to draw the minotaur's attention away. He uses that tiny split second of distraction to dart into cover near the mayor's residence. Watch this part closely. Losing its target, the raging minotaur furiously slams right into the mayor's wall with absolute full force. The wall collapses with a thunderous crash, and the beast instantly spots Raquel inside the room. Raquel furrows his brow, super confused. What is wrong with that creature's eyes? Those eyes look like a hurting patient full of intense pain. Nowhere to turn. Totally helpless and desperate. The minotaur glares directly at Raquel. It remembers. This guy was part of that awful bidding event too. It roars loudly, marking him as an enemy. Raquel blinks, completely baffled. Why is this huge thing hunting him specifically? The minotaur closes in step by step, raises its colossal fist high, and brings it hammering straight down at Raquel. Raquel throws his arms up in a panic to block, but Damien reacts in a literal instant, swinging his heavy sword up to completely shield him. He shouts at Raquel to run now, before it is too late to escape intact. Raquel shouts back that his journey absolutely does not end here. He worked way too hard for this precious life. The Minotaur is completely enraged now, swinging blow after epic blow, each packing absolute devastating force. Damien grinds his teeth and barely holds on, stunned by how impossibly fast those massive fists are moving. Raquel watches in pure horror. A direct hit means shattered bones, ruptured organs, and an instant game over. Then the Minotaur suddenly redirects its aim, lunging at Raquel. Damien frantically kicks Raquel out of the way in sheer desperation. Raquel hits the ground, stunned and furious. He cannot believe Damien actually just kicked him. You see it too, right? Debris rains down, and they realize they are trapped in the rubble. Damien suddenly speaks up. He mentions there is something incredibly important he needs to tell His Highness. Completely serious, he states. If they survive today, he wants hazard pay. Raquel is totally dumbstruck. He is bringing up bonus pay right this second? What happens if he refuses? Damien answers plainly. He will bail and share their battle plan with the monster on his way out. He counts to 3, striking the Minotaur to create a brief opening, letting Raquel use that moment to escape. Raquel asks frantically, even if he manages to run, where exactly is he supposed to hide? In here? By now, Damien is fully squared off against the Minotaur. Hearing the panicked question, he points to an open window on the second floor. Damien tells Raquel to jump. Raquel completely loses it. He will fall and be eliminated. Damien calmly reasons, jumping is still better than being totally crushed here. Judging from the loud sounds, the guard unit is preparing to strike the Minotaur from behind. Even if Raquel breaks a leg falling, the guards will get him to safety. This is literally the only way out in one piece. Damien whispers sharply, "Get ready." They move in seconds. Raquel swallows hard, tenses every single muscle, and completely braces himself to sprint away. Damien suddenly screams 3, leaping at the raging Minotaur. Raquel screams internally, "What happened to 1 and 2? He was not ready." Damien's blade directly connects with the Minotaur's huge head. Raquel seizes the moment and runs for it. Reaching the window, he grits his teeth and bravely leaps, silently whispering a desperate farewell to the world. Midway down, something blocks his fall, and Raquel instinctively grabs on with everything he has left. He looks up, finding himself dangling from the Minotaur's arm. At that exact moment, the system flashes an alert. Emergency mode is now active. It runs a rapid scan, pulling up a full assessment. Subject, Uris, the King of Minotaurs. System details. Age 48, height 712 centimeters, cardiac function rating F. Overall assessment: prolonged captivity and repeated sedatives have severely disrupted his physical equilibrium. Raquel is totally floored. The cardiac condition is critical. This is serious stable angina, and he knows exactly what this means. Trust me on this. Left untreated, it leads straight to critical heart failure. Let's jump right into the madness. That monster is raging because its veins are half blocked, causing absolute agony, like a truck parked on its chest. No wonder it's so violent. Raquel is getting violently tossed around, but yeah, this is definitely not the time to play doctor. The poor guy is almost crying. He's honestly in worse shape than his patient, just clinging on for dear life. One tiny slip, and he's totally flattened. The furious Minotaur raises its arm to shake him off. That's when Damien spots an opening, slamming his blade straight into the beast's horn. Damien mentally kicks himself hard. He aimed for the eye, but swung too fast, only snagging the horn. Leaping back to safety, he yells for Raquel to hold on just a bit longer. He's coming. Raquel is violently swinging on the massive monster's arm, screaming for Damien to hurry up. Gripping his sword, Damien charges right back in. He lines up a blazing double strike, one aimed at the waist, another for the shoulder. He knows it doesn't have to cut deep. He just needs one split second to create an opening. The sword lands flawlessly on the beast's shoulder. The Minotaur roars in agony, and Raquel's grip totally fails. His fingers slip, sending him plummeting straight down from that massive arm. Falling fast, he lets out a hopeless sigh. You and I both know this looks like game over. But wait. A figure shoots up with insane speed, catching Raquel perfectly. Raquel opens his eyes, totally stunned and super relieved. His savior is Annis. Annis' bridle carries him straight to safety, softly asking if he's okay. Raquel quickly shakes his head. Yeah, he's perfectly fine. The royal guards immediately urge them on. His Highness's safety comes first, they gotta move. Seeing Raquel escape, the Minotaur unleashes a furious roar and locks eyes onto Damien. Gripping his sword, Damien shifts right into a solid fighting stance. Since His Highness got away, Damien is clearly next. The raging beast takes a massive swing. Damien dodges it effortlessly. He makes a quiet vow to himself when this is over. He is absolutely demanding that hazard pay. The monster swings again with savage power. Damien plans to bait the fist, then slash right up from hand to forearm. Blade meets fist in a brutal clash. Damien is totally shocked. Those knuckles are insanely hard, way tougher than he ever expected. The Minotaur howls in sheer agony, then unleashes an absolutely relentless, wild barrage of punches. It keeps swinging, then suddenly freezes mid-motion. Damien immediately steps back. Is that bizarre, glitchy pause some kind of deliberate fake out? The very next second, the giant beast drops to its knees. Damien spots the perfect opening and charges with his sword raised. But wait, the Minotaur suddenly snaps back into action. It moves first. A single brutal punch sends Damien slamming into the wall. He crashes down, battered and badly bruised. Things just got incredibly dangerous. The monster slowly advances with a triumphant, menacing stride, raising its giant fist high. One more hit, and he's done. You might think it's over here. Damien closes his eyes, wondering if this is truly the end. Then Raquel's voice suddenly echoes out. He orders Little Spike to charge and ram the beast, buying precious time for Damien. Little Spike rockets forward, slamming into the huge monster with maximum force and shoving its massive body right off. Damien is perfectly stunned and relieved. He never actually expected Raquel to make such a perfectly timed, epic comeback. Raquel cheers wildly. Little Spike totally nailed it. That red sunflower seed actually made it grow. Waving wildly, he signals Damien. They're definitely getting a massive, well-deserved reward after this. Damien just laughs and shouts. Understood. He's going to collect a mountain of cash, but first, he actually needs to survive this mess. Meanwhile, the angry Minotaur shakes off that epic hit and finally snaps back to its senses. Furious, it rips Little Spike away and hurls the little guy with devastating, absolute force, straight toward Damien. Raquel screams, grab Little Spike's quills and use the momentum to launch yourself away. Without hesitation, Damien reaches out and grabs on tight. Little Spike's powerful leap pulls him cleanly right out of danger. The duo lands safely, but before they can even breathe, the furious monster is already glaring them down again. The beast unleashes one last thunderous roar. Boom! The entire mayor's mansion collapses, burying it under a huge mountain of rubble. Raquel rushes over, praising Little Spike. That was absolutely incredible. He looks at Damien with genuine worry, asking if he's hurt. With a super calm voice, Damien simply replies that he's perfectly fine. Raquel stares at the wreckage, knowing that monster isn't finished yet. Plus, its bezoar is still the finest crafting material out there. He shudders at how insanely close that was. One wrong move, and it meant curtains for him. What a wild ride, right? Raquel makes the call instantly, rallying everyone to bounce right this second. The mayor instantly rushes over, dramatically swearing to devote his entire life to serving and protecting His Highness from this crazy day forward. Stick with me here. He respectfully promises Raquel the absolute safest spot in town. They closely follow the mayor straight to the waterfront, discovering a massive ship anchored right there. The mayor respectfully invites him aboard. He promises that once they hit the open sea, they will be completely secure. Raquel quietly agrees that escaping by boat is totally smart. He cheerfully urges the mayor to hurry up and board so they can all leave this dangerous spot together, but the mayor stays completely firm. As the mayor, he won't run. Genuinely puzzled, Raquel asks why he would stay behind. The mayor proudly declares this is his city. He carries the heavy weight of every single citizen's safety. He absolutely refuses to escape alone. He vows to stay and command the security forces, earnestly begging Raquel to take the ship first. Hearing this, something truly inspiring stirs inside Raquel. He always thought the mayor just chased status and success. Then Damien bravely steps forward, urging Raquel that they seriously cannot afford to delay any longer. They must set sail immediately. He quietly reassures Raquel not to feel guilty, since everybody has a specific role. Raquel nods slowly. The mayor's clear duty is protecting and governing the city. The royal guards must protect his life with everything they have, while his heroic role is staying alive to carry the heavy weight of the crown. With one command, the anchor lifts, and they slowly sail away, but pay close attention. Right as they head out, a savage minotaur roar absolutely shatters the quiet air. It launches itself in one totally enormous leap. Its massive body soars through the sky, crashing straight down onto their ship. With a thunderous impact, the beast lands on the deck. The ship rocks so violently it nearly flips. Roaring in pure rage, it rips up a massive mast and violently swings it straight at everyone on deck. Raquel completely panics, loudly shouting about what to do. He desperately wants to run, but he cannot swim, and there is nowhere left. Tumbling into the ocean means a tragic end. The organs inside him sense extreme danger, surging violently to send out urgent warning signals. Damien stays remarkably calm, directing Raquel to press closely against the wreck's stern for safety. The fallen sail actually creates great cover to shield from incoming attacks. Raquel nervously asks Damien what he plans to do if he just hides there. Damien bravely gets to his feet, cheerfully reminding Raquel that His Highness owes him a very generous reward today, and now he will earn it. With that, he fearlessly charges the Minotaur, his sword raised. Damien calls out to Honest so they can attack from both sides. Honest leaps high, biting the beast's arm hard, while Damien simultaneously slashes its massive shoulder. The enraged Minotaur grabs Honest by the tail, hurling her fiercely through midair. The brave royal guards rush to swarm the Minotaur from all sides, but they are helplessly outmatched. You and I both see it. Every single guard is losing. Raquel holds his breath, tracking the monster's every wild move without missing anything. The system issues an alert that the host faces an unprecedented crisis. Extreme experience will suddenly yield growth. Under this immense pressure, the Azrahan precision diagnosis method actually manages to advance significantly. A brand new pulse reading function has unlocked. This meridian point scan easily predicts the future movements of any living subject being actively scanned. It only works on living beings. Raquel is completely stunned and wonderfully thrilled. He happily thinks to himself that this is a straight-up cheat code ability. He can now perfectly read every angle of the Minotaur's muscles. The exact timing and point of each incoming strike are now completely transparent. Raquel's heroic confidence surges with this skill. He can dodge every single hit, but quickly steadies himself. Exactly how long can he keep dodging? His stamina will definitely run out eventually. He must find a solution before that happens. He makes a silent, inspiring vow, not just for himself. Every single person alongside him has to make it out safely, because he too has an incredibly important role. Then the giant Minotaur raises its fist, taking aim at the nearby guards. The current situation is critical. Raquel boldly steps forward to block the blow head-on, and his body miraculously grows to match the Minotaur's size. The system issues a super urgent warning. The host just consumed a red sunflower seed meant strictly for fantasy beasts. We will face these solo consequences together.